Chapter 185. Is it hashtag the most beautiful doctor hashtag or hashtag the most vicious doctor hashtag? Dr. S., who was once named the most beautiful doctor by the citizens of the city, pushed a pregnant woman down the stairs today. The picture was of her standing on the stairs and Li Rongrong falling down the stairs. The picture was very clear. Su Qing-sang's raised hand and Li Rongrong's falling body. Su Qing-sang looked at the Weibo post and was dumbfounded. The vicious doctor pushed a pregnant woman down the stairs because of an old grudge. She glanced at Hua Jinyao, who was driving seriously. Who wrote this? Don't worry about who wrote it for now. Hua Jinyao's face was serious. He had a meeting in the afternoon and 2 cooperation plans to be discussed. So he didn't pay attention to the news on Weibo at first. By the time he found out, the topic hashtag, the most vicious doctor hashtag, had become a trending topic. But this time, the number of comments was much more than the number of likes. There was a lot of scolding. They were all scolding Su Qing-sang. I didn't push her. Su Qing-sang felt a little ridiculous. Su Qing-sang fell down by herself. And at that time, she wanted to hold her, but didn't hold her firmly. I know. These 3 words showed that Hua Jinyao trusted her. Su Qing-sang couldn't help but look at him again. The sky was getting dark, but his side profile was as handsome as ever in the shadows. You trust me? You are my wife. Who else would I trust? Hua Jinyao reached out and squeezed her palm. I trust my wife. She would never push someone down the stairs. Su Qing-sang's lips were tightly pursed. The warmth of his palm spread from the back of her hand to her heart. Thank you. He trusted her without asking for any reason, which really moved her. Silly. Hua Jinyao patted the back of her hand. You're my wife. You don't need to thank me. Su Qing-sang shook her head and signaled him to concentrate on driving with her eyes. She lowered her head and scrolled through Weibo again. The top Weibo post had been reposted more than 50,000 times. It was accompanied by all kinds of scolding and attacks. Even the Weibo account that she had registered before, but hadn't used much, was found. The furthest Weibo post she had posted was a few months ago. At that time, he had just delivered a pregnant woman. Gu Zheo's Weibo post now had nearly 10,000 comments, all of which were scolding her. Su Qing-sang had never heard so many vicious words. Her face darkened. Her forehead was throbbing, and she had a terrible headache. She didn't want to watch anymore. He put his phone away. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Su Qing-sang shook her head. She wasn't as optimistic as Hua Jinyao. I think the trouble this time is not small, but it's not big. Hua Jinyao glanced at her and gave a rather pertinent suggestion. You didn't push her. Even if they're hyping up the topic like this, there's no evidence. It was just a rumor. You can ignore it. How can I ignore it? Su Qing-sang frowned. What if the hospital suspends me? Just like last time, the power of netizens is quite scary. That's great. I won't do it then. The car had already stopped at the apartment building. Hua Jinyao parked the car and took out the key. Since they don't believe you, then I won't be a doctor. Won't be a doctor? Su Qing-sang couldn't smile. If I don't be a doctor, what can I do? It's not that you don't want to be a doctor. It's that you don't want to be a doctor in Lin City. Hua Jinyao turned to look at her. His expression was unprecedentedly serious. Honey, have you ever thought about going somewhere else to develop your career? Somewhere else? Where? Chapter 186. To Rong City? Su Qing-sang had heard of Rong City. It was the largest city in the northern province. Yes. Hua Jinyao nodded. You should also know that I am from Rong City, and I have always wanted to take you back to Rong City. The hospital in Lin City can't keep you, but Rong City can. You wanted to be a doctor in Rong City? Why not? Because of your talent. You could go anywhere. It doesn't have to be in Lin City. You could be a doctor anywhere. Why do you have to stay in Lin City? Su Qing-sang understood what he meant, but she looked at the seriousness in Hua Jinyao's eyes. Suddenly, she shook her head. No, I won't go to Rong City. Honey, listen to me. Su Qing-sang held his hand. What I said just now is the worst-case scenario. But the hospital may not treat me like that. Even if it is true, as long as I don't agree, they dare not do anything to me. She didn't push Li Rongrong. She had a clear conscience. I don't want to admit defeat like this. If I really leave, then even if I didn't push her, others will say that I did. Even if I have to leave Lynn City and go somewhere else, I want to leave openly and with a clean record. I don't want to leave with the reputation of such a vicious doctor. That's not what I want. Her gentle and beautiful face was filled with rare determination. Her eyes were as bright as the moon. Looking at Su Qing-sang, Hu Jinyao suddenly reached out to her, gently rubbed the top of her head, and said, "Yes. Okay, I believe you. Do you need my help?" "No." Su Qing-sang shook her head. "Don't worry. I can handle it." As soon as she finished speaking, her phone rang. It was Deputy Director Li. Director Li? Su Qing-sang glanced at Hu Jinyao. He was about to open the car door when he stopped to look at her. Suspended? Su Qing-sang was stunned. "May I ask why?" She listened to Director Li's words with a sullen face. He said that there were still reporters in the hospital. Just like last time, the hospital was blocked again. But this time, it wasn't the patient's family, but a group of reporters. After the news came out on Weibo, the group of reporters kept staring at the hospital. The hospital administration had just blocked this matter, but they still had to show their attitude towards the public. "I didn't push her." Su Qing-sang was very calm. She was neither angry nor agitated. You can look at the surveillance cameras in the yard, or through any other methods to verify it. "I really didn't push her. Dr. Su, we're all willing to believe you. But the people did not believe it, the media did not believe it, and the patients did not believe it. Right now, we need to temporarily suspend you to give the public an explanation. As for you, just bear with it a little and rest at home for a few days, okay?" Deanly, Su Qing-sang wasn't willing to accept such an arrangement. "I can't be suspended. Wouldn't my suspension be equivalent to my acquiescence? Then what do you want? Do you know how many reporters are outside right now? If you don't come to work now, you can also avoid the limelight." Presidently, all right. "Dr. Su, don't be too stubborn. Just let it be." Su Qing-sang looked at the phone, which had been hung up. Hu Jinyao was looking at her with concern. "Honey, I'm fine." Su Qing-sang shook her head. "The hospital suspended me from work and asked me to rest at home for a few days." Hu Jinyao's face darkened. "Just a suspension?" Chapter 187. Is there even a need to investigate? It's impossible for you to do such a thing. Thinking of Li Rongrong, Hu Jinyao's face darkened. "How is that woman now?" "I don't know. She wasn't awake when I left." Su Qing-sang smiled bitterly. "She fell by herself, but she did it on purpose. This woman is not normal at all. Just ignore it. I believe that your innocence will be proven in the end. It's my fault. I clearly knew that she didn't get along with me, but I wasn't vigilant. How can you be blamed for this? You are a doctor. You definitely don't think too much about it." That was right. She's a doctor. Doctors have the heart of a parent. How could he really be indifferent to the patient's pain? You know what? When she fell, she said that she wanted to drag me down with her. I really can't imagine that she would sacrifice her own child just to harm me. What Jinyao frowned. He was thinking about another possibility. A few days ago, she was the most beautiful doctor on Weibo, and today, she was the most vicious doctor. There must be someone behind this. What's wrong? Su Qing-sang saw the serious look on his face and was confused. Have you ever thought that she did all these things prepared? Her goal was to harm you. Have you thought about it? Su Qing-sang wasn't stupid. How could she not think of that? She did it to frame me. And to frame me, she didn't even want her own child. Have you ever thought that there is someone behind Li Rongrong? What do you mean? I'm not sure now, but I don't think it's that simple. Su Qing-sang saw the serious look on his face and didn't think too much about it. That's not possible, is it? I'm not a big shot. Not to mention that Li Rongrong and I did have some disagreements. Though she thought nothing of the unpleasantness. Hu Jinyao was not so optimistic. His instincts as a businessman made him used to thinking deeper and further into things. Jinyao, let's go upstairs and eat first. Hu Jinyao got out of the car first. However, there was a flash of gloominess in his eyes. No matter who it was, he would not allow anyone to touch Su Qing-sang like that. If it was only Li Rongrong's scheme, he would only look for Li Rongrong. If there was someone else behind him, he wouldn't let it go just like that, no matter who it was. Hu Jinyao, Su Qing-sang had already gotten out of the car. Noticing that his footsteps were a little fast, she called out to him. Hua Jinyao turned around, and the gloominess on his face was gone. Honey, don't think about it. The emperor has the most power when it comes to eating. Let's go. Eat. Su Qing-sang had been a little worried at first, but now he had almost diverted her attention. No matter what would happen tomorrow, no matter what would happen, at least she still had Hua Jinyao. The next day, Su Qing-sang thought for a long time and decided to go to the hospital. There were some things she needed to figure out. Even if she knew that Li Rongrong did it on purpose, she might not tell her the truth. Hua Jinyao decided to accompany her. He insisted on being with her, no matter how much she resisted. As expected, there were many reporters at the entrance of the hospital. Su Qing-sang looked at the crowd and smiled bitterly in the car. I didn't know that I would become a celebrity in Lin City one day. I'm fine. Once we prove our innocence, you'll be even more famous. I don't want to be more famous. I just want to prove my innocence. Chapter 188. You will. Hua Jinyao encouraged her. Let's go in through the back door. Inside the door, a nurse she knew greeted Su Qing-sang. She smiled at the nurse. Those who were willing to greet her at this time were really on her side. She went upstairs to the obstetrics and gynecology department. She knew where Li Rongrong's ward was, but she didn't expect to see reporters at the door at the end of the corridor. The nurse and the doctor were about to drive them away. Unexpectedly, Li Rongrong asked the nurse to call the reporters in. Su Qing-sang glanced at Hua Jinyao. He was also looking at her. The two of them looked at each other, then walked to the ward together. The door was open. The reporters were all inside. The nurse was hired by Wei Lenin. Su Qing-sang had seen her yesterday. At this moment, the nurse was helping Li Rongrong up. Her face was pale, and she looked very weak. Su Qing-sang looked at the half-closed door. The two of them stood behind the door and looked at the scene inside. Miss Li, are you the pregnant woman who was pushed down the stairs yesterday? Miss Li, you agreed to be interviewed by us. Are you going to respond to that incident? Miss Li, is it really like what the internet says, that you were pushed down by the most beautiful doctor? Questions were thrown out one after another. Li Rongrong looked at them and smiled weakly. Her line of sight was blocked by the reporters. She couldn't see the door. Even if she couldn't see Su Qing-sang and Hua Jinyao for where they were standing. Thank you for coming here to be interviewed. I would like to tell you about what happened yesterday. Let more people know about it. Su Qing-sang stood there. She could almost guess what Li Rongrong was going to say. I'm sure I'm the pregnant woman who was pushed down the stairs yesterday. Sure enough, Li Rongrong's first sentence was meaningful. I'm also very surprised that Su Qing-sang would do that. Hua Jinyao's face darkened. He stepped forward and was about to walk inside. Su Qing-sang held his arm and didn't let him in. Hua Jinyao glanced at her and understood what she meant. He stood there without moving. Su Qing-sang? So you know that doctor? Miss Li, why did Dr. Su push you? Because Li Rongrong said a few words and suddenly burst into tears. She was so emotional, and the reporters waited patiently for her to finish crying. Li Rongrong didn't cry for long, only a minute or two. After she stopped, she sniffed and took out a tissue to wipe her tears. She had an innocent face and looked pure and weak. Some of the male reporters present were filled with compassion. Actually, Dr. Su and I have some conflicts. Li Rongrong told her about what had happened with Wei Lenin. Of course, she told the same story. They said that Wei Lenin was pressured by his family, and that Su Qing-sang's family used their power to oppress him. In short, the more pitiful she was, the better, and the more domineering Su Qing-sang was, the better. No, she didn't even need to say that Su Qing-sang was bad. She just needed to point it out. These reporters and the media would come up with their own melodramatic feuds. Su Qing-sang stood there with a cold face. After listening to everything, she stepped forward and was about to go in. This time, it was Hua Jinyao who stopped her. What? Su Qing-sang said in a low voice. She want me to go in and reason with her. No. Hua Jinyao squeezed her palm. His slightly narrowed eyes were full of danger. We're not going in now. Chapter 189. Let's go. Hua Jinyao took her hand and walked outside. Let's go home first. Hua Jinyao? What did you want to do? I have a better idea. Hua Jinyao's voice was soft, but it was calming. Su Qingsang glanced at him and finally decided to believe his words. What's your idea? Didn't she accuse you of pushing her downstairs today? We don't need to confront her now. There are so many reporters inside. No matter what you say, you can only argue if you go in now. Reporters had always been eager to see the world in chaos. When the time came, it would be a mess. Then it will be a mess. Li Rongrong had nothing to do and was wasting time here. But Su Qingsang didn't. What he wanted was to hit the nail on the head. Yes, that was why she wanted to confront him. She didn't believe Qingsang. Hua Jinyao stopped and turned to look at her seriously. Do you believe me? Su Qingsang looked at his expression, bit her lip, and finally nodded. I believe you. It was rare for her to believe someone. If she said that, she really believed Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao smiled and hugged Su Qingsang. Qingsang, believe me. I will make her admit that everything she said today was to frame you. How could it be possible? Li Rongrong had said so much today. Could she betray him again? Didn't you just say you believe me? Su Qingsang nodded hesitantly. Hua Jinyao took her hand and said, Let's go. Let's go home. Go home. Yes. No. Let's go play today. I've always heard that there's a mountain in Lin City. The scenery is very beautiful in autumn. Don't you want to go with me? It was just after the Mid-Autumn Festival. In late autumn, the maple leaves on the mountain should be red. It was good. Su Qingsang glanced at her feet. I'm wearing high heels today. It's okay. We'll buy a pair of shoes later. I heard that the mountain is not high anyway. It's not high. I've been there once with my classmates, but not in autumn. Speaking of which, I've never seen what autumn is like in Jingshan. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Hua Jinyao left without hesitation, looking relaxed. Su Qingsang couldn't argue with him, so she followed him into the car. The two of them went nearby to buy a pair of comfortable sports shoes. Then he bought some snacks and water. Jingshan was about 10 kilometers away from Lin City. It wasn't far. The so-called mountain in this southern city was only about 1,000 meters above sea level. Because there were a few famous scenic spots on the mountain, a road was specially built halfway up the mountain in the early years. The car drove to the parking lot on the mountainside. There was a flight of stairs further up. It was time to walk by itself. Su Qingsang got out of the car first. The mountain breeze blew against her face, making her take a deep breath. So comfortable. The weather was good. It was a refreshing autumn day. The mountain breeze was neither hot nor cold. It gave people a very comfortable feeling. Hua Jinyao got out of the car and walked up to her. Let's go. I've never been here before. You have to be my tour guide. Sure. The comfortable environment made Su Qingsang forget about the troubles she had been having. She led the way up the stairs. Hua Jinyao picked up the snacks and water he had prepared in the bag and followed her. The stairs were very long. After walking for a while, Su Qingsang began to feel tired. Slow down. There's no hurry anyway. After the Mid-Autumn Festival, the temperature here was very suitable. Hua Jinyao walked in front of her and reached out to hold her hand. Come on, I'll hold your hand. Su Qingsang panted. Looking at Hua Jinyao's calm face, she felt a burst of jealousy. Chapter 190. She hadn't exercised for a long time, and she was exhausted. Your stamina is so weak. Hua Jinyao glanced at her and seemed to think of something. Next time, I think you should exercise more. My stamina is not bad. Your stamina is too good. Su Qingsang was out of breath again after saying a few words. Hua Jinyao couldn't help but laugh. He looked at the bench next to the steps in front of him and stopped. How about we take a break? Su Qingsang couldn't have asked for more. The two of them sat down on the bench, and Hua Jinyao handed her a bottle of water. Drink some water. Su Qingsang took 2 sips, and suddenly stood up. She quickly walked up a few steps, then turned to look at Hua Jinyao. Look over there. Hua Jinyao followed. In front of him was a large area of rocks with a Danxiao landform. The shape was peculiar, and the landscape was unique. I haven't been here for a long time. They had all forgotten. Halfway up the mountain was the largest Danxiao landform rock in Lin City. This area was called the 5-color Danxia. Look, isn't that color beautiful? Yes. Hua Jinyao nodded. It was indeed good. I remember there's a maple forest further up. In this season, the maple leaves should be red. That's great. Isn't it great that we're here? Yeah. Su Qing nodded. Because it wasn't the weekend, there were almost no tourists on the mountain. She had gotten off lightly. Su Qing took out her phone to take a picture. After taking pictures of the scenery, she glanced at Hu Jinyao and finally asked him to take a group photo with her. After taking only 2 pictures, the man started to play tricks again. Ha! Hu Jinyao planted a big kiss on her face. Su Qing blushed. She glared at him, walked past him, and continued to walk up. Scenic Mountain was not big, and there were not many scenic spots. There were only a few of them, so it was easy to walk through them. However, these scenic spots were exquisite, and the weather was good today. Su Qing's photos were beautiful. She was also quite satisfied. Hu Jinyao had been staring at her. Looking at the faint smile on her beautiful face, he felt a certain part of his heart soften. The two of them walked to the last scenic spot in Jingshan. It was the stone forest at the top of the mountain. This stone forest wasn't big, but it was unique. It was arranged in picturesque disorder, like a chessboard. He felt like he was in the middle of a chess game. Outside the stone forest was the highest point of Scenic Mountain. You will rise to the top and take in all the mountains. Hu Jinyao stepped forward and put his arm around her waist. I didn't know that my wife was such a talented woman. Su Qing couldn't stand him. I learned it in elementary school. Everyone can recite it. I don't care. My wife is the best. Su Qing couldn't take it anymore. She looked ahead and said, actually, compared to nature, humans are really too small. Yes. Say, life is so short. Why are some people unwilling to live a good life, look forward, and work hard to manage their own lives? Hu Jinyao knew that she was thinking about Li Rongrong again, so he turned her body to face him. Because these people are blind to the truth. They don't know what they want. Su Qing nodded. Yeah, some people live their whole lives without knowing what they want. Who said that? I know very well what I want. What? You? Hu Jinyao hugged her waist tightly and kissed her on the cheek. I want you. The suppressed voice was extremely pleasant to the ears, revealing a kind of languid and sexy feeling. Su Qing blushed. Chapter 191. Hu Jinyao wasn't joking with her. He leaned over and kissed her as if he was really going to do something to her. Su Qing was startled. Just as she was about to avoid his face, she heard footsteps behind her. Hu Jinyao also heard it. He let go of Su Qing and took a step back. The two of them turned around and looked behind them. There was more than one person coming. It was a group. Su Qing saw the tall man at a glance. If she remembered correctly, this man seemed to be the big brother Meng Wan mentioned last time. Why was he here? Hu Jinyao also saw the man and raised his eyebrows. Why was he here? Beside the man was a petite and slender woman in a wedding dress. She was obviously tired and was panting. Brother Hausa slowed down. The petite woman took a few steps and realized that Hu Jinyao and Su Qing were also there. She was stunned for a moment. Zhang Hausa turned around and helped her up. I told them to handle the post-processing, but you insisted on doing it yourself. It's better to do it myself. Chen Feifei panted and looked away from Hu Jinyao. Only then did Su Qing see that there was a group of people behind the two of them. Those people were holding all kinds of photography equipment in their hands. Looking at the wedding dress on the petite woman's body, what else was there to not understand? This group of people chose the scenic spots in Jingshan to take wedding photos. They were really in a good mood. As he spoke, Zhang Hausa had already walked in front of Hu Jinyao and Su Qing. Mr. Zhang, you're in a good mood. Hu Jinyao interrupted him and reached out to shake his hand. He didn't let him call him that. You came up the mountain to take wedding photos. Zhang Hausa reached out and clasped his hands. Hu Jinyao slightly exerted force. Zhang Hausa narrowed his eyes and chuckled. You're welcome. Mr. Hua is in a good mood. The Hua family obviously paused. Hu Jinyao understood Zhang Hausa's gaze. Yes, the weather is good today. I brought my wife out to get some fresh air. As Hu Jinyao spoke, he reached out and put his arm around Su Qing's waist. Hello, Mrs. Hua. Hello. Su Qing glanced at Hu Jinyao. Did he know this man? Ching sang, "This is President John. He has a partnership with our company." Brother Hausa. Chen Feifei bit her lip and looked at John Hausa and Su Ching sang. "They are Feifei. This is Hu Jinyao from Tianyu." John Hausa introduced Hu Jinyao directly. "This is his wife." "Hello." Chen Feifei nodded as if she had thought of something. "Heaven Domain? Are you going to take wedding photos?" Hu Jinyao smiled and interrupted Chen Feifei. "The sun is a little bright now. I'm afraid it'll be hot." "I'm fine. We'll go to the dark side to shoot." John Hausa's physique was comparable to Hu Jinyao's. He was tall and handsome. Now, he was looking at Hu Jinyao's face with an indecipherable gaze. Chen Feifei looked at John Hausa and then at Hu Jinyao. She had a feeling that she had seen this Hu Jinyao before, but she had never been involved in the business world, so she didn't recognize him. Hu Jinyao smiled and said, "If that's the case, I won't bother you anymore. We're done playing, so we'll take our leave first." "Take care, Mr. Hua." Hu Jinyao nodded and walked past them with his arm around Su Ching Sang's waist. Su Ching Sang looked at the two of them and felt that something was wrong. Chapter 192. Seeing that she was deep in thought, Hu Jinyao moved closer to her and held her waist tightly with one hand. "Honey, are you tired after playing for so long? Let's go down the mountain for dinner." "Okay. Honey, what do you want to eat?" Hu Jinyao put his arm around her waist and looked at her with a faint smile. "Anything. Whatever is fine." Su Ching Sang was indeed hungry. "How about Sichuan cuisine?" "Okay." They walked away slowly. It was a normal conversation, but surprised John Hausa. He didn't expect Hu Jinyao to have such a side to him. Also, his wife didn't seem to know who he was. That was interesting. John Hausa still remembered how Hu Jinyao was so powerful when he was negotiating with Tianyu. The Hu Jinyao was obviously different from the one in his memory. Was he good at pretending? Or was he just like that in front of Mrs. Hua? He didn't know. Brother Hausa. Chen Feifei saw and heard it too. She turned to look at John Hausa with expectation in her eyes. John Hausa was very nice to her, but it seemed to be a little far from what she wanted. She knew that he treated her as a sister, not a couple. She knew that he married her to repay a debt of gratitude, but she really wanted him to treat her as a woman he loved. "What's wrong?" His gentle voice was filled with affection. He looked at her with extreme gentleness, but she wasn't in his eyes. Chen Feifei felt a little bitter. She put her arm around John Hausa's arm and said, "Brother Hausa, let's go take some photos." "Okay." John Hausa nodded and let her hold his arm, but that was all. There was no more. Chen Feifei looked at his cold face, gritted her teeth, tiptoed, and kissed him on the cheek. John Hausa's brows furrowed imperceptibly, but he held her hand and walked forward as if nothing had happened. Su Ching Sang was a little tired when she got back to the car. She sat there, thinking about that man. "Hu Jinyao, are you familiar with that man?" "Not really, but we've worked together." Hu Jinyao glanced at her casually. "What's wrong? He doesn't look simple." "Honey, are you praising him?" "Sort of. He's handsome too. He had a good figure. It looks pretty powerful." "Honey, he's not as good as me." "Yes, but you just called him young Master Jean?" Hu Jinyao blinked and said, "It's his special hobby. He likes to be called that." "Really?" Su Ching Sang looked at him suspiciously. Hu Jinyao leaned over and kissed her on the cheek. "Honey, I'll be jealous if you pay so much attention to other men." "Stop it." That was not what she wanted to ask. "Do you know who the woman beside him is?" "She should be his fiancée." Hu Jinyao thought about the rumor. He's not an ordinary person, but it seems that the Chun family has done him a favor. So he agreed to marry Miss Chun. He had seen Chen Feifei once before. She was a sickly beauty. Anyone in the business world who knew a thing or two about the Chun family would have heard that the daughter of the Chun family was frail and sickly. However, the Chun family's family head had good foresight. He had saved John Hausa in the early years and trained him carefully. Now, he had become an existence like Chun Feifei's guard. Is that so? Su Ching Sang thought of Shi Mengwan. Shi Mengwan had always said that John Hausa was her big brother. Chapter 193. Do you like him? What are you talking about? It was the first time she saw Jean Hauser. How could she like him? Then why do you keep asking about him? Hua Jinyao raised his hand and put it on her shoulder. You've never cared about me like this. Hua Jinyao, that's enough. She just asked a few more questions for Shi Mengwan. If it weren't for Shi Mengwan, she wouldn't have cared about who Jean Hauser was. Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qingsang's expression. His pestering expression faded a little. However, he was a little annoyed with Jean Hauser. That guy mentioned Tianyu on purpose. Not only in the industry, but in the whole country. Who didn't know about Tianyu? Fortunately, Su Qingsang devoted herself to her profession and didn't pay attention to these things. Otherwise, how could she know nothing about it? It seemed that he had to find something for Jean Hauser to do next time, in case he talked nonsense. However, thinking that Jean Hauser was forced to get married by the Chen family, he gloated again. Are you hungry? Why don't you drive? Su Qingsang turned around and saw him smiling a little strangely. That expression made her frown. Let's go. Su Qingsang was enjoying the mountain breeze. She was so comfortable that she didn't think about where she had heard the name Tianyu before. After dinner, they went to watch a movie. When they got home, Su Qingsang was already very tired. However, her tired body felt much better after taking a shower. She couldn't fall asleep, so she took out her phone. Habitually, she opened Weibo and glanced at it. The top local trending news made her forehead twitch again. She hadn't opened Weibo for half a day and found that things were out of control again. Those reporters didn't know what was going on, so they all blamed Su Qingsang. Some even dug out Su Qingsang's identity and said that she was the illegitimate daughter of the Su family. She couldn't be shown in public, so it was no wonder that she was so cruel. This wave of insults and attacks was much more severe than yesterday's. Su Qingsang casually browsed through it and couldn't read it anymore. In the past, she only knew that there were keyboard warriors in this world. Today, she met one and understood what it felt like. As soon as Hua Jinyao entered the room, he saw her sullen face and then looked at the phone in her hand. What else could he not understand? He took a few steps forward, took her phone away, and put it aside. Then, he sat down beside her. Why do you look like that? Why do you care about these trolls on the internet? Su Qingsang shook her head. He wasn't her, so how could he understand? Just some irrelevant people. How is it worth your anger? Hua Jinyao pulled her into his arms as he spoke. Don't worry. The more they scold you today, the more painful the slap in the face will be when the truth is clarified tomorrow. How can it be as easy as you say? Su Qingsang still didn't believe him. You make it sound easy. Li Rongrong, do you believe me? Hua Jinyao put his arm around her waist, insisting on an answer from her. Su Qingsang looked at him and finally nodded. I believe you. Since you trust me, then wait and be patient. They like to scold, let them scold. Curse to your heart's content. By tomorrow at the latest, the matter will be resolved. He sounded really confident. Su Qingsang was nervous, but now she could only choose to believe him. Well, I think you're just too free. As Hua Jinyao spoke, he turned over and lay on top of her. I think we need to do something else. You could divert your attention. Chapter 194. Li Rongrong went to sleep after talking nonsense in front of the reporters. Most doctors and nurses didn't believe the rumors. They had seen Hua Jinyao before. Yesterday, when Wei Linen came, a nurse also saw him. With such an outstanding man like Hua Jinyao as a comparison, Wei Linen looked like a scumbag. Li Rongrong wasn't afraid that the nurses didn't like her. She had a caretaker to take care of her. Or the nurses. There were reporters who came to ask about the situation, and the nurses told them the truth. But the reporters didn't write about the situation. Instead, they wrote that Su Qingsang hated Li Rongrong because she had to find someone else. They hadn't seen Hua Jinyao, but Wei Linen was famous in Lin City. What else didn't they understand when they compared it and asked about it? If they understood it, the news would be distorted. Li Rongrong didn't even take care of her body. She started browsing Weibo and local forums after she woke up. The more people scolded Su Qingsang, the happier she was. How dare you steal my man? How dare you push me? At night, Li Rongrong asked the caretaker to buy food for her. She didn't like the food in the hospital. The caretaker left to buy dinner for Li Rongrong. Not long after she left, the door of the ward was opened. Did you buy it? I said I want to eat. Who are you? Li Rongrong was shocked to see a stranger enter her ward. She sat up and looked at the person in front of her warily. Su Qing-sang was harassed by Hu Jinyao for the whole night, so she didn't have time to think about Li Rongrong. The next day, Su Qing-sang felt uncomfortable all over. She criticized Hu Jinyao in her heart. This man was too much. He didn't know how to control himself. She was so weak that she was afraid that one day she would be killed by Hu Jinyao. She picked up her phone and wanted to browse Weibo, but she didn't want to see more curses. She put down her phone and it rang again. It was sure Mingwan again. Mingwan. Su Qing-sang received her call and thought of Zhan Haoza. I have something to talk to you about. You don't bother. I know everything. Huh? What do you know? What do you think I know? Sure Mingwan's voice was relaxed. She was so worried yesterday that she even seriously explained to Su Qing-sang on Weibo. It was a pity that she was small and insignificant. There was no way she could overwhelm so many internet trolls and keyboard warriors. Now that the matter was resolved, she heaved a sigh of relief. How would I know what you know if you don't tell me? All right. Sure Mingwan was confused by the fact that she knew more. You must have known about it before me. You must have checked Weibo. What are you trying to do here? No. Su Qing-sang shook her head, pressed the speaker button, and opened Weibo. I haven't checked Weibo today. That's good. I'm the first one to inform you. Su Qing-sang didn't hear what Shermang Wan said clearly. She clicked on the latest local news. Hashtag the prettiest doctor hashtag is still the prettiest doctor. There was a video on it, but she didn't have time to watch it. She glanced at the title and the following article, and the twist in the article made her eyes widen. I won't tell you now. I'll take a look first. What was going on? As she clicked on the video, she heard the door open. You're awake. Chapter 195. Li Rongrong appeared in the video. She was in the ward, and there were at least a dozen microphones facing her on the small board in front of her. She looked at the camera with a pale face, and the flash in front of her kept flashing. Miss Li, may I ask why you are holding a press conference today? Miss Li, is there anything else you haven't told us? Miss Li, Li Rongrong bit her lip, and her eyes were full of indignation. She didn't want to say what she was going to say next. But I invited you here today because I have something to tell you. For Li Rongrong, every word was very difficult to spit out. I'm sorry, I lied yesterday. I wasn't pushed down the stairs by Dr. Su Qing-sang. What? There were more than a dozen reporters who rushed into the ward, and they all looked at each other. Miss Li, can you please make it clear? Li Rongrong was very angry, but thinking that they had something on her, she had to compromise. The truth is that the child in my belly was already stillborn. As early as a week ago, I had a checkup, and another doctor said that the child had no heartbeat. They asked me to take the child out. I didn't want to. I wanted the child, but after a few days of observation, the child was still the same. The doctor said that it would be dangerous if I didn't abort it. Then I thought that if I abort the child, I might as well use it to do something. Li Rongrong's voice was getting softer and softer. It was so soft that it was almost inaudible. Su Qing-sang's eyes widened, and she looked at Hu Jinyao, who had sat next to her, in shock. Hu Jinyao nodded and motioned for her to continue watching. What else needed to be said? Li Rongrong wanted to use the child to harm her, and she really succeeded. Su Qing-sang turned from the most beautiful doctor to the most vicious one. She also played a big role in it. She was not short of money, so it was not difficult for her to buy the hot search results and hire a water army. The reporters were shocked. One of them sensed that something was wrong. Miss Li, as you said, you did all of this to frame Su Qing-sang. Then why did you say it out loud? Yes. Su Qing-sang didn't understand, not to mention the reporters. After I lied yesterday, I felt guilty. Especially after I found out that Dr. Su was suspended, I felt that my behavior was wrong. Su Qing-sang's eyes widened when she heard that. How could such a thing happen? She couldn't believe that someone like Li Rongrong would say something like that. This completely refreshed her understanding of the world. How could Li Rongrong go back on her words? This was not normal. Miss Li, can I ask if someone threatened you before you changed your words? A reporter's question stunned Su Qing-sang. She subconsciously glanced at Hu Jinyao. Hu Jinyao was watching the video. Noticing her gaze, He glanced at her and gestured for her to continue watching. Nope, I wasn't threatened. Su Qing-sang withdrew her gaze and continued watching. Li Rongrong smiled. Through the screen, Su Qing-sang couldn't see how stiff and ugly Li Rongrong's smile was. I really just found my conscience. I don't think this is good. Chapter 196. Yes, I have proof. I left a medical record when I was examined in another hospital. That can prove that what I said is true. Su Qing-sang was not interested in what Li Rongrong said after that. He closed the video and scrolled up Weibo. He found that the trend on the internet had changed again. Those who had cursed the most yesterday were silent today. Those who didn't scold him yesterday had posted on Weibo today. The hashtag the most toxic doctor is a lie hashtag was pushed to the top. No one scolded her anymore. Occasionally, there would be one or two who came out to question the authenticity, but they were also slapped in the face. After all, Li Rongrong had admitted it herself. What else was there to doubt? A crisis that had almost affected Su Qing-sang's career had been resolved so dramatically. Su Qing-sang even had an inexplicable feeling. It was like playing house. That's it. What else? Hua Jinyao's voice rang out. Su Qing-sang looked up at him. Thinking back to how he had told her not to worry yesterday, the matter had indeed been resolved today. Hua Jinyao, did he already know? Did you make these? What? You want Li Rongrong to change her mind? Hua Jinyao smiled brightly. What's wrong? Are you not happy? It wasn't a matter of whether he was happy or not, but the whole thing was too weird. Li Rongrong changed her mind just because you asked her to? It's that simple? It's that simple. What else? No, how did you do it? Didn't you hear her? What? She said that the hospital she visited before had her medical records. Is she telling the truth? Su Qing-sang was stunned. She thought Li Rongrong was just saying that casually. Yes. Hua Jinyao nodded and held Su Qing-sang's hand. In my opinion, even a vicious tiger won't eat its cubs. No matter how ruthless a woman, especially a mother, is, she wouldn't use her own child as a bargaining chip. Besides, Li Rongrong's baby was over 4 months old. Since she wanted to marry Wei Lenin, she could only get more benefits by giving birth to a child. It was too stupid to use a child as a tool to frame Su Qing-sang. That was why he wondered if it was possible that Li Rongrong didn't want the child in the first place. Therefore, it was much easier to get someone to investigate. First, he had to find out where Li Rongrong had made the records, and then find a way to get the medical records. Of course, all of this had to have connections. Li Junsheng was the new mayor of Lin City. It was only a matter of minutes for him to call and get a certificate. This was only the first step. Yesterday, his subordinate, Yang Wenchong, and a colleague from the technical team had been busy for half a day. Check Li Rongrong's records and hack into her computer. This was very simple for them. It was much easier to find Li Rongrong's computer. This woman was very scheming. Naturally, there would be some shameful things in the computer. Once he brought these to the door and stated his conditions, the rest would be much easier. Li Rongrong could refuse, but once she did, Hua Jinyao would find someone to expose the truth. That would be a completely different story. Li Rongrong was not a fool. Since things had come to this point, she knew very well that the rest was not up to her. If the other party leaked those things to the media, her reputation would be ruined. Rather than let them destroy her, it was better for her to admit her mistakes first and minimize the impact. Li Rongrong was vicious, but she knew how to adapt to the situation. Hua Jinyao knew this, so she had no choice but to stand up and admit that she had lied. How did you know? Chapter 197. Meeting Su Qing-sang's suspicious gaze, Hua Jinyao touched his nose and said, I asked someone to check it out. That easy? It's not very difficult. It was indeed that easy, but it wasn't good to say it so directly to Su Qing-sang. Of course, it took some effort. For example, I used some connections and found some people. Don't worry, they're all working with the company. It's difficult, but it's okay. What he said was difficult, yet it was fine. Was it difficult or not difficult? Su Qing-sang turned to look at Hua Jinyao with confusion on her face. Hua Jinyao, are you hiding something from me? What can I hide from you? You should ask yourself that. What do you hide from me? Honey. Hu Jinyao put his arms around her waist and kissed her on the cheek. Look, you've been cleared of the crime. I believe the doctor will let you go back to work soon. These are all good things. Shouldn't we celebrate? How? Su Qingsang didn't think there was anything to celebrate. Think of it as a celebration. Hu Jinyao held her and lay on the bed. How about 300 rounds to celebrate? Hu Jinyao. Su Qingsang's doubts were diverted by him. 300 rounds? Did he want to cripple her waist? No. Then let's do 100 rounds. Not even one round. Su Qingsang pushed him. Get up. I want to get up. Honey, don't get up. You don't go to work anyway. Hu Jinyao, are you going to move? Her phone rang. Su Qingsang pushed him away and quickly picked up the phone. Hello, Brother Zhua? It's me. Yes, go ahead. As soon as the words Brother Zhua came out, Hu Jinyao's mouth twitched. He resisted the urge to grab the phone and throw it away. He hated this kind of brother and sister the most. He put his arms around Su Qingsang's waist and turned to look at him with a warning look. He didn't know what the other side said, but a faint smile appeared on her face. Hu Jinyao leaned over and gently bit her cheek. Su Qingsang glared at Hu Jinyao. The look in her eyes was so cold that it seemed as if she wanted to kill someone. Hu Jinyao didn't let her go. He gave her another kiss on the other cheek. Although it was light, Su Qingsang was still frightened. She was afraid that Zhua Hongshan would hear her. That would be awkward. She glared at him warningly before continuing. Back to work? Okay, I got it. When? Tomorrow? Okay, I will. Don't worry, I'm not mad. Hu Jinyao stopped kissing her and put his arms around her waist instead. However, his hands were not well-behaved, moving up and down. Su Qingsang realized how emotional she was. She cleared her throat and said, I understand. There was no need for that. There was really no need. I'll come to work on time tomorrow. She pinched Hu Jinyao's hand. His muscles were firm, and it was difficult to twist them. If she didn't have to talk, she would have bitten him. Thank you, Senior Brother Zhua. Goodbye. Su Qingsang tossed the phone aside, grabbed his hand, and took a bite. It didn't hurt much, but it made her teeth ache. She let go of him and sat up straight. Hu Jinyao, can you not touch me when I'm on the phone next time? Hu Jinyao leaned over and gave her another kiss on the cheek. A mischievous look flashed across his eyes. I touched my wife. How did it become touching me? Su Qingsang looked at him like a rascal and almost lost her temper. Forget it. Why should she care about him? She pushed him away and wanted to get up. Chapter 198. Hu Jinyao smiled and sat her down on his lap. He leaned over and kissed her on both cheeks. Honey, where are you going? He asked. You're not going anywhere. Get up and have breakfast. She was hungry after such a long time. You're going back to work? Yes. You go back to work just like that? Going back so easily? Wasn't it too easy for the hospital? What else can I do? Your hospital didn't even investigate before convicting you. Do you still want to go back to work so easily? You have to ask your director to invite you in person and visit him 3 times before you go back with him. Hu Jinyao said seriously. Su Qingsang pushed him away without hesitation. Stop it. She wasn't an expert. Visit him 3 times? Wasn't he afraid that she would be fired? I'm really not joking. Hu Jinyao stood up and stood beside her. Think about it. When did your hospital stand on your side when the pregnant woman jumped off the building, and this time, not even once? Hu Jinyao held her in his arms. His voice was soft but firm. I'm not against you going back to work, and I'm not against you becoming a doctor. But your hospital is really bad. Every time something happens, you push the doctors out first. You don't want to solve the problem, but only want to get rid of the doctors. What's the point of working in a place like this? Then what do you want? Su Qingsang didn't know that it was the hospital's fault. But that was how things were now. Look at those hospitals that had accidents. Which one of them did not push the doctors out as soon as the hospital was in trouble? After all, the other departments of the hospital had to operate. She could understand, but Hu Jinyao's words did make her feel a little disappointed. I want you to go back to Rome City with me. Su Qingsang was stunned and looked at Hu Jinyao. Back to Rome City? Yes, back to Rome City. Hu Jinyao put his hands on her shoulders. I mentioned this to you before. You said you didn't want to go until you proved your innocence. Now that you've proven your innocence, you can leave the hospital and go to Rome City with me. Su Qing-sang was silent. Yes, her innocence had been proven. She didn't push Li Rongrong. Her medical record was clean, and she could go wherever she wanted. Honey, what do you think? Hua Jinyao looked expectant, but Su Qing-sang was a little hesitant. I need to think about it. What else do you want? Hua Jinyao tried to persuade her. Since you and I are married, we are one. Shouldn't you come with me when I go back to Rome City? Su Qing-sang understood everything he said, but following a man to another city, a city in the north that was completely different from Lin City. Let me think about it. All right, there was no hurry. I'll wait for you to think it through. Hua Jinyao didn't want to put more pressure on her. But I also hope that you won't take too long to think about it. Su Qing-sang nodded. Given the current situation, even if she wanted to think about it for a long time, it wouldn't work. She went to the bathroom to wash up. Just as she squeezed out the toothpaste, Hua Jinyao came in again. And Li Rongrong, have you decided what to do with her? Li Rongrong? Su Qing-sang was confused and stopped brushing her teeth. What do you mean? She slandered you and almost got you suspended. Don't you want to take revenge on her? Chapter 199. Su Qing-sang frowned. After brushing her teeth, she put the toothbrush aside and said, "Didn't she already admit it? If so, her reputation will be ruined. Let's forget about it." It was not that she was soft-hearted, nor was she a saint. She just didn't want to waste time on these things. Hua Jinyao was not surprised at her answer at all. This time, she was so soft-hearted because it was solved in time. Li Rongrong's state at that time was that she couldn't wait to kill Su Qing-sang. How could he allow such a thing to happen? This time, he was lucky. His people found some good things in Li Rongrong's computer. But what if there was nothing in Li Rongrong's computer that could threaten her? What if Li Rongrong was not afraid of losing her reputation and tried to drag Su Qing-sang down with her? She would be punished, but Su Qing-sang would not be able to get away easily. Hua Jinyao. Su Qing-sang had finished washing her face. Seeing that he was in a daze, she took 2 steps forward. What's wrong? Nothing. Let's go. Let's eat. Su Qing-sang was soft-hearted and reluctant to do it, but he wouldn't. He had to teach Li Rongrong a lesson. Not only her, but also the person who bought the trending topic. It was not Li Rongrong who made Su Qing-sang the most beautiful doctor. If it weren't for the headline, Li Rongrong wouldn't have been so angry that she wanted to bite Su Qing-sang. Okay, after dinner, Su Qing-sang didn't have to go to work today, so she decided to visit Shi Mengwan. Shi Mengwan was very worried about what had happened these few times. She cherished Shi Mengwan as a friend very much. Although she had called her, she still wanted to see her. Shi Mengwan was a little famous in the wedding dress industry. Many famous brands had asked her to order wedding dresses. She was also very busy on weekdays. Most of the time, she was busy in the wedding dress shop. Su Qing-sang took some small cakes and snacks and went to the milk tea shop to buy tea. The shop assistants in Shi Mengwan's shop all knew her. They took the snacks from her, thanked her 1 or 2, and went to have afternoon tea. Su Qing-sang went straight to Shi Mengwan's workshop to find her. Her wedding dress shop was very big, and the workshop was on the 2nd floor. She went upstairs and entered the door. Shi Mengwan was sewing the edges of a wedding dress. Mengwan? Qing-sang, why are you here? Shi Mengwan was happy to see her. Wait a minute. I'll be done in a moment. I just need a few more stitches. I'm fine. I'll wait for you. Su Qing-sang took a few steps forward and looked at Shi Mengwan's wedding dress. It was inlaid with many diamonds and pearls. Shi Mengwan matched it well. The entire wedding dress was gorgeous and grand. Elegant, but not ostentatious. So beautiful. Yes, this is my proudest work in recent times. When Shi Mengwan was inserting the needle, she didn't forget to look at Su Qing-sang proudly. Speaking of which, the owner of this wedding dress is related to you. Follow me? Yes. Your sister, Su Peijian, made the decision. Su Qing-sang frowned. She thought of what Su Yusin had told her on the phone. You mean this wedding dress belongs to Su Peijian? Wasn't the engagement between Su Peijian and Qiu Yanba canceled? Didn't they come here to cancel the order? Yes. When Shi Mingwan thought of Su Peijian, the corners of her mouth curled up. Only she has so many requirements. Diamonds and pearls. Fortunately, my skills are good. After the matching, it doesn't look tacky and weird. Yes, yes, yes. Who doesn't know that your skills are good? Chapter 200. Yes. He said it would be in a few days, but he hasn't come yet. He probably wouldn't come. Su Qingsang thought of something, and her expression changed. What's wrong? Shi Mingwan put away the needles. The final process was completed. She looked at the wedding dress and felt that it was perfect. She washed her hands and found Su Qingsang in a daze. What happened to you? You don't look good. I'm thinking that you probably won't need this wedding dress anymore. Why? My sister, Su Peijian, seems to have canceled the engagement with Qiu Yanba. Since they won't get married, they won't come to get this wedding dress. Really? Shi Mingwan also knew about the Su family. Although her family couldn't compare with the Su and Li families, they were still a small family. How could it be canceled? Such a well-matched marriage has been arranged for several years. How could it be canceled just like that? She suddenly approached Su Qingsang with a face full of gossip. Could it be that Qiu Yanba cheated on her? Fortunately, Shi Mingwan was beautiful. Otherwise, if someone else made such an expression, it would definitely be very wretched. I don't think so. At most, he had a change of heart. No way. Really? Su Qingsang didn't know why Qiu Yanba suddenly wanted to cancel the engagement with Su Peijian. Look at you. You must know the inside story. Tell me quickly. Shi Mingwan hooked her arm, looking as if she wanted her to quickly satisfy her curiosity. Su Qingsang was speechless. Why are you so curious? Of course I'm curious. Shi Mingwan raised her eyebrows. Your sister always seems to have eyes on the top of her head. She doesn't like anyone and wants to stab them when she sees them. I really want to know who on earth could take away your brother-in-law's heart under the nose of someone like her. Su Qingsang didn't know what to say. She's not as exaggerated as you said. More exaggerated than I said. Shi Mingwan shook her arm. Tell me, do you know the inside story? What do I know? I only know that Qiu Yanba seems to like someone else. It wasn't like it was the truth. But Su Qingsang couldn't say it. This kind of thing was really embarrassing. Heavens, do you know who it is? Su Qingsang. Two voices rang out at the same time. Su Qingsang was startled by the sudden sound. He turned around and realized that Su Peijian had arrived without him noticing. She glared at her, and the resentment on her face was hard to hide. What did you say? When Su Qingsang saw her, she cursed in her heart. Talking behind someone's back and being caught red-handed was indeed a little embarrassing. Sis, don't call me sister. I don't have a sister like you. Su Peijian was also acting on a whim today. Although her marriage with Qiu Yanba had fallen through, she still couldn't bear to part with him. It was one thing for them to be well-matched in terms of social status. She was also sincere to Qiu Yanba. Since they couldn't get married, they could just take the wedding dress and keep it as a souvenir. But who would have thought that she would hear such news? You said that Qiu Yanba has a woman he likes outside? Previously, she kept saying that they were not suitable and that there were no feelings between them. Su Peijian thought that Qiu Yanba was tired of being with her every day, but she didn't know that there was an inside story. She stood in front of Su Qingsang angrily. At this moment, Su Peijian hated her too. Chapter 201. Laughing at Su Peijian? Why would she say that? I didn't. Su Qingsang shook her head and looked calm. Even if she didn't have a sisterly relationship with Su Peijian, she wouldn't think of laughing at her. You didn't? You didn't. You just said that you knew Yanba had a change of heart. Su Peijian's face darkened. She was sure that Su Qingsang didn't say it on purpose. She was the last one to know that her man had a change of heart. Was there anything more ridiculous than this? Su Qingsang had nothing to say. Think what you want. I didn't know it by accident. Accident? Su Peijian nodded. Her expression was a bit fierce. Since it was an accident, why don't you tell me who that woman is? I don't know. Su Qingsang answered very quickly. Only Shi Mingwan, who knew her very well, could see the difference from her accidentally moving fingers. She looked at Su Qingsang with some gossip. Her best friend was good enough. Not only did she know about Qiu Yanba's affair, but she also knew who the woman was. You don't know? Su Peijian didn't believe it all. If you really don't know, then how did you know that Yanba had a change of heart? You obviously know the person. Did you not tell me on purpose? No. Su Qingsang didn't want to answer this question. Sister, I really don't know. Good, very good. Su Peijian nodded. You don't know who it is, but you know he had a change of heart? Su Qingsang had nothing to say. Su Peijian wouldn't let it go like this. You knew he had a change of heart, but you didn't tell me? Su Qingsang, is this how a sister should be? Su Qingsang was a bit speechless. Would you believe me if I told you? Then how do you know I won't believe you if you don't tell me? Who would you believe? Would you believe me? Or Qiu Yanba? Su Qingsang didn't want to get involved in this mess at all. Sister, can you be reasonable? She didn't do anything back then, but Su Peijian already thought that she coveted Qiu Yanba. How dare she say those things in front of her now? Su Peijian didn't say anything. She stared at Su Qingsang with hatred and finally nodded heavily. Su Qingsang, you're good. Shi Mingwan watched Su Peijian leave angrily and turned to face Su Qingsang. Qingsang, aren't you good? Su Qingsang was having a headache, so she didn't want to talk about it. All right, don't talk about it. Don't. My gossipy heart has been ignited by you. Tell me, who is the woman who made Qiu Yanba abandon the eldest daughter of the Su family? Su Qingsang pulled her hand away and looked helpless. 5 minutes later, after hearing the whole story, Sherman Wan's eyes widened. Oh my God, Qingsang, are you serious? You even managed to deal with the Cho family's young master? Shoo, keep your voice down. Su Qingsang wanted to cover her mouth. You want everyone to know, don't you? Don't worry, someone will come here for the time being. Shi Mingwan looked like she had never expected this. I really didn't expect you to have such charm. I'd rather not. Shi Mingwan looked at her and nodded slightly. That's true. It's considered a rotten peach blossom. She suddenly sat up straight and looked at Su Qingsang with concern. Qingsang, I think you should be more careful. Miss Su is not someone to be trifled with. She's still so angry even though she doesn't know about you and Qiu Yanba. What she finds out. Chapter 202. What's wrong? Hua Jinyao noticed something was wrong with Su Qingsang when he got home. Honey, what happened? Nothing. Su Qingsang didn't know what to say. She couldn't help but look at Hua Jinyao. She didn't look like she was fine. Hua Jinyao stretched out his hand and pulled the corners of her mouth. Nothing. You don't even smile? Didn't you go to play with your good friend today? What's wrong? Didn't you have fun? Su Qingsang shook her head and looked at Hua Jinyao. Finally, she told him what had happened. She didn't know when she had gotten used to confiding in him. She had always been used to solving problems by herself. She didn't know when Hua Jinyao started to make her feel at ease. She could start to trust him. At least, she was willing to believe that he wouldn't hurt her or hurt her. Hua Jinyao's expression didn't change. What's there to worry about? You didn't instigate Qiu Yanba to break off the engagement. That's true, but no buts. Hua Jinyao took her hand and put it in his palm. He put his other hand around her shoulder. Qiu Yanba is an adult. He needs to learn to be responsible for his own choices. He wanted to break off the engagement. He didn't want her. Even if Su Peijian found out and came to you to settle the score, what's the reason? Su Qingsang had nothing to say. Hua Jinyao turned her face to look at him with an extremely serious expression. Honey, even if she wants to pester you endlessly, it's fine. But Qiu Yanba said he likes you, but he brought you so much trouble. Don't you think that these problems need to be solved by him? He was right. Su Qingsang followed Hua Jinyao's train of thought and couldn't help but nod. So, Su Peijian isn't your trouble. She's Qiu Yanba's trouble. If Qiu Yanba has a change of heart, even without you, there will be someone else. If that's the case, what's there to worry about? Su Qingsang was silent. She looked at Hua Jinyao's handsome face for a while and finally said, Hua Jinyao, I found that you're really good at talking. He had a way of persuading people, and she couldn't refute it. You're good at talking? Hua Jinyao kissed her on the cheek as he spoke. I think so too. No, I think I'm better at talking. Don't you agree? As he spoke, his gaze swept over a certain part of her body. Su Qingsang couldn't stand it anymore. She crossed her arms in front of her chest. Where are you looking? Look wherever you want. Hua Jinyao pulled her hand away and moved closer to her again. Honey, tonight, I'll let you have a taste of my eloquence. Stop it. Su Qing-sang pushed him away. I'm hungry. Let's eat. Sister Lu had already prepared dinner and left earlier. The food was still warm and ready to eat. Su Qing-sang couldn't take it anymore. The two of them sat down at the dining table, one after the other. Hua Jinyao scooped a bowl of soup for Su Qing-sang and placed it in front of her. Seeing that she looked much more relaxed than before, he asked tentatively, Honey, have you really decided to go back to work tomorrow? Yeah. Didn't we agree on it? Can you take a few days off from work? Leave? Why? You see, it's really too much for your hospital to treat you like this. You're so obedient, and you went back just because they told you to. Don't you have no ambition? Chapter 203. That's one aspect. Hua Jinyao gestured for her to continue drinking the soup. You have to show the hospital their attitude. You're not someone they can fire or suspend at will. Su Qing-sang was his wife. It would be strange if he wasn't angry at the hospital's attitude. And then, secondly, aren't you annoyed with Su Peijian? Since she knows that you know about Qiu Yanba, she will definitely come looking for you. Even if she can't do anything to you, she's angry right now. Don't you think avoiding her is a good choice? He wasn't afraid of Su Peijian, but he really wanted Su Qing-sang to accompany him to Rong City. How? It wasn't like Su Peijian didn't know where she lived. What could she hide? Come to Rong City with me. Hua Jinyao looked serious. We're going to have fun for a few days. On one hand, we can avoid Su Peijian. On one hand, it'll let the hospital know that you're not a pushover. Su Qing-sang resisted the urge to roll her eyes. Who could bully her? It was understandable for the hospital to handle it this way. But thinking about it, going to Rong City with Hua Jinyao didn't seem so unacceptable. Just for a few days? Just a few days. Hua Jinyao nodded and held her hand. It's all up to you. If you don't like staying there, or if you don't like it, we'll come back right away. Su Qing-sang lowered her head and concentrated on drinking the soup. She began to think about what Hua Jinyao had said. Su Peijian would definitely come looking for her again. Although she had a clear conscience, she really didn't want to argue with her over Qiu Yanba. Going to Rong City for a few days wasn't a bad idea. She suddenly looked up at Hua Jinyao and asked, Do you have something to do in Rong City? Hua Jinyao smiled and leaned over to kiss her on the cheek. That's why people say that my wife is smart. It's just a small matter. Su Qing-sang almost spilled the soup in her hand. What is it? Are you sure you can solve it in just a few days? Sure. It's just a contract. He made it sound simple, so Su Qing-sang didn't think too much about it. Recently, there were a lot of messy things happening around her. Thinking about it, going out to play for a few days was not a big deal. Su Qing-sang was still a little tired when she boarded the plane. She yawned and wanted to sleep as soon as she sat down. Hua Jinyao very considerately picked up the blanket and covered her body. The flight will take more than 2 hours. If you're tired, you could take a nap on the plane. Su Qing-sang glared at him. Who was responsible for her tiredness? Who made her so tired? This guy. She had only agreed to come to Rome City yesterday, but tonight he kept asking for her as if he had taken stimulants. She didn't want to admit that she had poor stamina. She could only blame him for having too much stamina. She closed her eyes to sleep. She was really sleepy. He slept until he got off the plane. After resting for a while, his body finally recovered some strength. When she got off the plane, the cold air made her shiver. Here, put on your coat. Hua Jinyao was prepared. He took out a thick woolen coat early in the morning. Su Qing-sang was wrapped in the coat and felt the coldness dissipate a lot. She lowered her head to take a look. The dress didn't seem to be from her wardrobe. Where did the clothes come from? I bought it. Hua Jinyao straightened her clothes and said with a gentle expression, Rong City is not like Lin City. It's already very cold here. Are you cold? Do you want to buy a down jacket? No need. She wasn't that afraid of the cold. Let's go. Okay. Hua Jinyao held her hand and walked outside, but they hadn't left the airport yet. They met an acquaintance. Chapter 204. The man looked to be in his early 40s. He was dressed in Armani and looked very flamboyant. He was a little chubby and panted a little when he ran over. There were 3 or 4 people behind him, and they were all following behind him. Armani didn't care about the others. He just looked at Hua Jinyao and reached out his hand. Mr. Hua, I didn't expect to see you here. What a coincidence. Hua Jinyao frowned and glanced at Su Qingsang from the corner of his eye. He had to reach out and shake hand with the other party. Mr. Hua, did you just come back from a business trip? The middle-aged chubby man was smart. I just came back. Mr. Hua is really busy every day. People like us can't compare at all. Hua Jinyao didn't reply. The man continued. Thank you for thinking so highly of the contract last time. Don't worry, we will do a good job. Mr. Hua, if you have such an opportunity next time, please help us. I can't thank you enough. Mr. Lin, you're welcome. You're also very capable. It's a small business. It can't compare to your Tianyu group. You can easily have projects worth billions or even tens of billions. Su Qingsang turned to look at Hua Jinyao. This was the second time she heard the words Tianyu group. Mr. Lin seemed to have just noticed Su Qingsang, and his eyes lit up. This is my wife. Hello, Mrs. Hua. Mr. Lin reached out to shake Su Qingsang's hand. Su Qingsang politely reached out and smiled at him. Mrs. Hua is so beautiful and elegant. You and Mr. Hua are really a good match. CEO Lin's praises seemed to come out of his mouth like they were free. Su Qingsang felt a little uncomfortable listening to them. So did Hua Jinyao. Mr. Chu, I still have something to do here. Oh. Sorry. Excuse me. Mr. Hua, you're busy. I'll take my leave first. Mr. Lin took 2 steps back and stopped. If there's a chance next time, I'll treat you and Mrs. Hua to a meal. Mr. Hua, you must do me the honor. Hua Jinyao didn't say anything else. Mr. Lin waved his hand and said a lot of good things before leaving. Hua Jinyao turned his face and met Su Qingsang's probing gaze. Mr. Hua? Yes? Honey, actually I can explain. Hua Jinyao raised his hand. Su Qingsang nodded and said, It's okay. You have time to explain. Honey, what do you think about this? Shall we go home first? Go home? Which home? She knew that he was from Rong City, so it was not surprising that he had a family in Rong City. You'll know when you get there. I'll explain to you when we get there. Hua Jinyao smiled ingratiatingly. Su Qingsang gave him a meaningful look and followed him out of the airport. Someone had already come to pick them up. The man took the luggage and put it in the car, then went around to open the door for them. Finally, he returned to the car and started driving. He was well-trained and didn't speak much. It was obvious that he wasn't an ordinary driver. Su Qingsang couldn't help but look at Hua Jinyao again. The airport wasn't close to the Hua mansion. Su Qingsang had rested on the plane, so she didn't feel like sleeping. She looked out the window at the scenery that was completely different from Lin City. Although it was already late autumn in Lin City, the weather was still relatively hot. Many people on the road were still wearing short-sleeved shirts. But the weather here was so bad that he had to wear a thick coat. The buildings, the weather, even the blue sky above was different. Chapter 205. Seeing that Su Qingsang was looking outside from time to time, he leaned over and introduced it to her. That's the largest central square in Rong City. Next to it is the largest department store in Rong City. Tianyu Group was involved in both of them. Many famous buildings in this city were built by Tianyu Group. Su Qingsang didn't say anything. The car drove away from the city center and gradually slowed down. Su Qingsang poked her head out to take a look. There were almost no people on both sides of the road. The car drove into a carved gate. They drove forward for a while before stopping. The driver got out of the car first and opened the door for them. Before Su Qingsang got out of the car, she was shocked by the building in front of her. It was completely in the style of a European castle from the last century. It was about 5 or 6 stories and looked like a Byzantine house. She stood at the door and looked at it. She could see a row of medium-sized fountains extending from a main building to the entrance in the distance. On both sides were huge Roman columns with lifelike sculptures that looked like the work of a master. On both sides were European-style columns with all kinds of flowers and plants. On both sides were large green lawns. Su Qing-sang subconsciously turned her face to look at Hu Jinyao. He was smiling brightly at her. Honey, we're here. Let's go in. Su Qing-sang didn't move. She stood there and looked at Hu Jinyao. Is this your home? Hu Jinyao cleared his throat and nodded slightly. Yes. Su Qing-sang felt her forehead twitch. Are you very rich? Not really. Hu Jinyao seemed to sense Su Qing-sang's worry and quickly explained, My family is rich. I'm not very rich. He only had tens of billions of yuan under his name. He shouldn't be very rich. Yes. He wasn't lying. Su Qing-sang didn't want to talk. She knew very well that his not being rich was not the same as hers being poor. What will you do if I don't want to go in? Honey, Hu Jinyao stepped forward and held her hand. Don't be like this. After all, you're already married to me. If you don't come in, do you want to stay in a hotel? That's not impossible. Of course not. Hu Jinyao put his arm around her waist. Okay, honey, what if you're angry? You can beat me up when we get in. Let's go in first. My grandfather knew you were coming and has been waiting for a long time. It would have been better if he hadn't mentioned it. Once he did, Su Qing-sang was even more displeased. Hu Jinyao, you didn't tell me that you wanted to see your family. I didn't even prepare a gift. It's fine, it's fine. I'm ready. Hu Jinyao quickly said, Honey, I'm ready. Don't be angry, okay? Seeing him like this, Su Qing-sang couldn't get angry. The chauffeur who came to pick them up unloaded all the things in the car and brought them over. Mr. Hua, he had prepared many gifts for the elders. He looked at Su Qing-sang and said, Honey, let's go in. She was already standing at the door, so Su Qing-sang didn't seem to have a choice. He followed Hu Jinyao into the house. In the living room, the Hua family members who had known about his return were waiting for him. However, Hu Jinyao didn't expect everyone to be here. Grandfather Hu Yangping, his parents were Hu Mingguang and Lu Tongjia. His uncle, Hu Mingliang, his two cousins, Hu Yifan and Hua Yang, and his cousin, Hu Manzi, Auntie Hu Mingmei and Uncle Wei Nantian, and his aunt's two children, Wei Sihai and Wei Siming. The whole family sat around the sofa. Chapter 206. She couldn't help but turn a look at Hu Jinyao. Old Master Hua had just seen Hu Jinyao walk through the door. Jinyao, you're back. Old Master Hua reached out his hand. Come here. Hu Jinyao walked forward with the bags in one hand. He held Su Qing-sang's hand with one hand. Grandpa, I'm back. You still know to come back. Although he was happy about his grandson's return, the old man was not polite with his words. I thought you forgot the way home. How could that be? Hu Jinyao was used to saying a few words every time he went out. Su Qing-sang stood there, feeling a loss for what to do for the first time. She could tell from the door that Hu Jinyao's family wasn't simple, but she didn't expect him to have so many family members. Would she have to live and interact with such a big family in the future? Grandpa, I just wanted to bring my wife over to show you. While speaking, Hu Jinyao pushed Su Qing-sang to the front and looked at old Master Hua. Grandpa, this is Su Qing-sang, my wife. Qing-sang, this is my grandfather. Hello, Grandpa. Su Qing-sang was a little reserved. She didn't have much experience with elders. The elders in her family didn't like her very much, so it was impossible for her to get close to them. Su Qing-sang was a little scared to see an old man as dignified as old Master Hua. All right, good. Old Master Hua nodded and looked at Su Qing-sang. It seemed like a good idea. I heard from Jinyao. Are you a doctor? Yes. Su Qing-sang stood there with her back straight. I just graduated from a medical postgraduate program not long ago. Not bad, not bad. Old Master Hua was very satisfied, but Hu Mingguang and Lu Tongjia, who were sitting in the middle, didn't look happy. Hu Mingliang and his family were watching the show. As for Hu Mingmei's family, they did not have much power in the heaven domain, and they only received some dividends every year. However, Hu Mingmei had never liked Lu Tongjia, who was a proud sister-in-law. She was happy to see someone make trouble for her. It must be tough being a doctor, right? I've heard Hu Jinyao talk about it a few times. It hasn't been easy for you. Fortunately, it's not very tiring. Compared to the Department of Surgery and the Emergency Department, the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology was much better. You still have to take care of your body. You're still young, so don't take it lightly. Thank you for your concern, Grandpa. I will. Su Qing-sang really didn't have any experience in getting along with the elderly. She only answered Old Master Hua's questions. However, Old Master Hua was unexpectedly easy to talk to. This made her feel a lot more at ease, even though she was still a little uneasy. Hua Jinyao gave the gift he had prepared in advance to Old Master Hua. Grandpa, this is the gift Qing-sang prepared for you. It's good that you're here. There's no need to give gifts. We're family. There's no need to be so polite. Although he said that, Old Master Hua was still very happy. Hua Jinyao handed the gifts to Hua Mingguang and Lu Tongjia. Dad, Mom, this is the present Qing-sang bought for you. Qing-sang, these are my parents. She didn't know if it was an illusion, but when Hua Jinyao introduced his parents, he didn't seem as easygoing and friendly as when he introduced Old Master Hua. However, Su Qing-sang still greeted him politely. Hello, Dad, Mom. Lu Tongjia had no intention of taking it. She sat there and glanced at Su Qing-sang's face coldly. Chapter 207. Su Qing-sang's expression froze, and the atmosphere in the living room suddenly became eerily quiet. No one expected Lu Tongjia to react like this, let alone Su Qing-sang and Hua Jinyao. Tongjia. Old Master Hua glanced at Lu Tongjia. What are you doing? Dad, am I doing this? Lu Tongjia didn't admit it. He said that he wanted to get married without our parents' permission. He knew that the Hua family was engaged to the Su family, but he insisted on marrying this woman who came from nowhere. Why am I doing this now? Su Qing-sang glanced at Hua Jinyao. She was angry at him for lying to her and hiding his identity. She didn't have time to lose her temper when she suddenly saw such a big family. How could she be despised by others first? Mom. Hua Jinyao didn't look happy either. He stood in front of Su Qing-sang with a cold face. His dark eyes were especially bright at this moment. He stared at Lu Tongjia and said, Qing-sang is not a woman who came from nowhere. She's my wife now. Hui Yifan and Hua Yiyang sat there and watched the show. The two brothers looked at each other and seemed to be very happy about the argument between Hua Jinyao and Lu Tongjia. What's with your attitude? Did I agree to you two being together? Lu Tongjia raised her voice, but Hua Jinyao didn't give in. I don't need your permission. I'm your mother. Then? You're my mother. Then what? I want you to divorce this woman immediately and marry Ruoli. Nonsense. Old Master Hua couldn't bear it anymore. Tongjia, you're not calm now. Talk to me when you calm down. Dad, I'm very calm. Lu Tongjia wanted to say something, but was defeated by Old Master Hua's gaze. She had to sit back down, but she didn't like the way she looked at Hua Jinyao and Su Qing-sang. Hua Jinyao ignored her and introduced Hua Mingguang. Hua Mingguang wasn't very happy either, but he was a man who had been in the business world for a long time. He nodded as a greeting. He accepted the gift from Hua Jinyao and put it on the coffee table without touching it. This is my uncle. Nice to meet you, uncle. These are my cousins, Hui Yifan and Hua Yiyang. Hello. This is my aunt and uncle. This is my cousin Wei Sihai and my cousin Wei Siming. Hello. After introducing everyone, Hua Jinyao presented the gifts one by one. Su Qing-sang looked at him and felt that he was really polite. He had been like this when he went to her house. Now that she had come to his house, although he didn't tell her in advance, such preparation still touched her a little. After the introduction, Hua Jinyao held Su Qing-sang's hand and was about to go upstairs. Lu Tongjia couldn't take it anymore. Hua Jinyao, don't be so stubborn. Willful? How am I being willful? Hua Jinyao raised his eyebrows in confusion. Lu Tongjia was furious. I told you, I don't agree to your marriage. I want you to divorce this woman. You hear me, aunt? Su Qing-sang spoke abruptly. Everyone was looking at her, and she was looking at Lu Tongjia. Sorry, my name is Su Qing-sang. Su as in Su Dompa, Qing as in green grass, Sang as in mulberry leaves. I'm not that woman. She emphasized the word woman when she said woman. Chapter 208. Hua Jinyao rarely saw Lu Tongjia being humiliated. He was proud, but he didn't laugh. It was hard for him to hold back his laughter. Su Qing-sang wasn't afraid of his stare. I'm sorry. I'm married to Hua Jinyao. It's not about whether you agree or not. We're already together. What do you mean? Lu Tongjia's voice was sharp. Su Qing-sang cleared her throat and said, I don't mean anything. I just want to tell you that you want Hua Jinyao to divorce me. Have you ever thought about how Hua Jinyao will divorce me if I don't agree? Hua Jinyao almost applauded for Su Qing-sang. Good, good. She was indeed the woman he liked. Lu Tongjia became angrier when she saw the expression on her son's face. I've seen many women like you. All you want is money. Just tell me how much you want. Tongjia, old master Hua couldn't bear it anymore. However, Su Qing-sang smiled. She looked at Lu Tongjia and found it funny. Auntie, you seem to have misunderstood something. Speaking of which, Hua Jinyao lived in my house and drove my car in Lin City. I didn't know who he was at that time. In other words, she didn't do it for money. Wei Sihai wanted to clap his hands for his cousin. The young master of the Hua family lived in a woman's house and drove a woman's car? TSK, what a promising young man. Nonsense. Lu Tongjia couldn't bear it anymore. Do you know how much Hua Jinyao is worth? He needs to live in your house. That's a joke. You can ask your own son whether it's a joke or not. Su Qing-sang turned to look at Hua Jinyao and quickly looked away. I don't care how much Hua Jinyao is worth. I don't need you to believe it. After all, you're not anyone to me yet. As for me and Hua Jinyao, I'm sorry. I don't like him keeping such an important thing from me. I'm not tired of him yet. So if you want me to divorce him, that's impossible. It was the first time that Hua Jinyao had seen Su Qing-sang's eloquence. He almost wanted to step forward, put his arm around Su Qing-sang's shoulder, and give her a big kiss on the cheek. The smug look on her face was really annoying. Lu Tongjia almost lost control of herself again. Hua Jinyao knew when to stop. He reached out to hold Su Qing-sang's hand. Grandpa, Dad, Qing-sang must be tired. I'll take her upstairs to rest. Grandpa, excuse me for a moment. Su Qing-sang could tell that among all the people there, only old master Hua really wanted her to come. As for the others, forget it. After greeting old master Hua, the two of them went upstairs together. Dad, look at them. What kind of attitude is that? Lu Tongjia was not satisfied with her daughter-in-law, nor was she satisfied with her son. All right, old master Hua still didn't know about her. Everyone is here today. Don't mention those disappointing things. But if you still recognize me as an old man, then some things will end here. Don't talk about it anymore. No matter how dissatisfied Lu Tongjia was with her son and daughter-in-law, she couldn't disobey the old man. Right now, he could only let it go. However, Su Qing-sang didn't know whether she was willing to let it go or not. Even if she knew, she wouldn't care. After she left the Hua family's sight, her face turned cold. She took the opportunity to withdraw her hand from Hua Jinyao's grasp and stood aside a little. Chapter 209. Seeing the change in her expression, Hua Jinyao took her hand and went upstairs. Come, let's go upstairs and have a look. Su Qing-sang stood still on the stairs and looked at Hua Jinyao. I think I should leave now. Don't. Honey, you can't leave. Holding Su Qing-sang's hand, Hua Jinyao said with a roguish smile. If you leave, where can I find such a good wife? What a glib tongue. Don't try that on me. It's useless. Honey, look at you. I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart. Why don't you believe me? Su Qing-sang didn't even look at him. Seeing that she didn't move, Hua Jinyao quickly took her hand and led her upstairs. I live on the 3rd floor. There's an elevator in the corner on the other side, but I like to take the stairs. The house had a total of 6.5 floors. On the 1st floor, there was a living room, dining room, kitchen, banquet room, multi-purpose room, and gym. The 2nd floor is my grandfather's room and our study room. I lived on the 3rd floor, and there were a few guest rooms. The 4th floor was for my parents, and the 5th and 6th floors were mostly guest rooms. But I prepared a room for the group of people downstairs. Hua Jinyao took her hand and led her upstairs, introducing the place to her. Su Qing-sang didn't say anything. She looked at the exquisite carvings on both sides and the painting hanging at the corner of the stairs. Everything in front of her was the complete opposite of the world she lived in. She went up to the 3rd floor and entered the room. Su Qing Sang was shocked by the size of the room. Even though she had just heard Hua Jinyao's introduction, she was still a little surprised. The spacious room looked like it was half the size of her apartment. Pure European-style decoration. Carved big bed, handmade Italian furniture. There was also the imperial concubine's chair, which looked extremely comfortable and expensive, placed on the balcony. Su Qing glanced at Hua Jinyao, who was also looking at her. "Honey, the luggage has been brought up. There's a cloakroom over here, and I'll get someone to prepare clothes for you." She brought Su Qing to the walk-in closet. Her luggage had already been carried up. Su Qing glanced at the cloakroom, which was even bigger than her room, and then looked at the high-end custom-made clothes hanging in it. She didn't know much about fashion, but she knew that these clothes were expensive, just like the custom-made suit hanging beside her hand. She had once heard from Shi Mengwan that a suit cost more than 200,000 yuan. Some rich people had specially ordered it from abroad to be used as a wedding dress. But now, it was just hanging with the rest of the clothes. Su Qing turned to look at Hua Jinyao. She remembered that when he had moved into her house with a suitcase, her little closet had been filled with his clothes of unknown brands. Should she say that he was putting on a good act? It should be said that he was really condescending in front of her. What happened? Su Qing's gaze gave Hua Jinyao goosebumps. He leaned forward to look at Su Qing. "Honey, what's wrong?" "Hua Xiao." Su Qing mimicked the way the man addressed her at the airport. Her tone was calm and emotionless. "You've been living with me for the past few months." "I'm sorry." "Honey, what are you talking about?" Hua Jinyao smiled awkwardly. "What did I say?" Su Qing walked into the cloakroom and unconsciously touched the clothes hanging on it. She turned to look at him with a mocking expression. Chapter 2:10. I'm really not. Hua Jinyao stepped forward and held her hand. "Honey, don't be like this. I was wrong, okay?" "You weren't wrong. What did you do wrong?" Su Qing withdrew her hand, and there was a hint of coldness in the corners of her eyes. "I think you should listen to your mother and divorce me. After all, a woman like me might really be with you for your money. Don't you think so?" "Honey," Hua Jinyao was about to lose to her. "Just say it. Don't belittle yourself like this." "How is it belittling? I'm telling the truth." Su Qing was indeed very angry. She was angry that Hua Jinyao hid it from her and that he took matters into his own hands. If he had informed her about the situation today, she wouldn't have been so passive downstairs. Yes, on the surface, it seemed that she didn't suffer any losses. But in reality, it was the first day she met his family, and she left such an impression on them. Right now, she felt like she had nothing left to live for. "Honey," Hua Jinyao wanted to laugh it off. How could Su Qing agree? "Don't call me that. Your mother's words make sense. Your family is so rich. I'm just an illegitimate daughter. Of course, I'm not good enough for you." Su Chenghui was born a commoner. After he got together with Li Qianxue, he slowly made his fortune. Although he was outstanding, the Su family only lived in a large villa. The old house of the Li family could be compared to the Hua family. But in terms of location and value, it couldn't compare to the Hua family. Su Qing really didn't know that the man she had casually married was actually so powerful. The young master of the Hua family? She didn't even need to check it now. How could she forget Tianyu Group? It was a group that had businesses all over the country and was even more powerful than the Li family. With Hua Jinyao's status, he could marry any woman he wanted. No wonder Hua Jinyao's mother didn't like her and didn't want her to be with Hua Jinyao. "Honey," Hua Jinyao was shocked by Su Qing's words. He grabbed her hand and asked, "Are you angry with me?" "Can I be angry?" Su Qing pulled her hand back. "You hid it from me for so long. Do you think I'm wrong to be angry?" That's right. Hua Jinyao cleared his throat and reached for Su Qing's hand again. "Look, no matter how much money the Hua family has, it's the Hua family's money, not mine, so I'm not lying to you. Please forgive me." "Forgive you?" Su Qing nodded. "Sure, but I have a condition." "What?" "Divorce." Su Qing said casually. "This is a marriage built on deception. I want to leave." Her lips were blocked, so she couldn't say the rest of her words. Su Qing found it hard to breathe and reached out to push him away. He bit down on her lips as if punishing her. Su Qing-sang felt the pain and pushed harder. Hu Jinyao finally stepped back, but he didn't let go of her. He pressed her against the wall of the walk-in closet and restrained her hands, not letting her break free. He pressed his forehead against hers and stared at her face with a pair of burning eyes. Su Qing-sang blushed because of the breath he was exhaling. Chapter 211. She couldn't move and could only stare at him. Hu Jinyao, you rascal. I'm a rascal. What's wrong? He leaned over and bit her lips. I'm only a rascal to you. Su Qing-sang's heart was beating fast. She looked at the man and said, Let me go. What are you doing? What do you mean? Hu Jinyao put his arms around her waist. I think it's good. Very good. As he spoke, he kissed her again. Su Qing-sang blushed and even forgot why she was angry in the first place. Get out of my way. Stop it. I'm not. Hu Jinyao put his arms around her waist. Honey, I want you. This guy was really... Su Qing-sang was still trying to push him away when someone knocked on the door. Hu Jinyao stopped for a moment. The servant's voice came from outside the door. Young master, dinner will be ready soon. The old master asked you to take young mistress downstairs for dinner. Right away. Hu Jinyao responded and let go of Su Qing-sang. He took a small step back and said, Okay, don't be angry. Let's go down for dinner. No. Su Qing-sang looked a little uncomfortable. I don't want to go down. Honey, your mother doesn't like me. I'm afraid that if I go down, she'll be too angry to eat. You don't care whether she likes you or not. Hu Jinyao took her hand. I like you. Hu Jinyao. He thought that everyone was as open-minded as he was. They didn't care about anything. She doesn't even like me. How could she like you? Hu Jinyao's voice was a little low. Su Qing-sang froze for a moment and said without thinking, Are you also an illegitimate child? As soon as she finished speaking, she was hit on the forehead. What nonsense are you talking about? After Hu Jinyao knocked on her forehead, he saw that she looked like she was in a lot of pain, so he rubbed her forehead again. I've thought about this too, but I've done a paternity test. I'm my mother's biological son. Then why doesn't she like you? Wasn't that too strange? Which mother didn't like her own son? Hu Jinyao withdrew his hand, took her hand, and walked outside. Who knows? Maybe we are born incompatible, and she doesn't like me. There was a flash of gloom in his eyes, but it was too quick for Su Qing-sang to notice. She turned to look at Hu Jinyao, feeling a little more sympathy for him. Li Qianxue and Su Chenghui didn't like her because she was an illegitimate daughter. However, it was strange that Hu Jinyao's parents didn't like him even though he was their own child. She was sure that things weren't as simple as they seemed. It couldn't be like what Hu Jinyao said. But from the looks of it, he obviously didn't want to talk about it. He was a little curious, but he didn't ask anymore. Seeing that he didn't look too good, Su Qing-sang spoke subconsciously. Maybe it's not that your mom doesn't like you. It's just that she's going through menopause. Hu Jinyao turned around and looked at her in shock. When he met her extremely serious gaze, he suddenly burst out laughing. Ha ha! The gloominess in his eyes disappeared, and he leaned over to kiss Su Qing-sang's cheek. Honey, you're so cute. Su Qing-sang blushed again. She wiped the non-existent saliva off her face and glared at him. Go downstairs and eat. Yes, honey. Chapter 212. Today, all the members of the Hua family were present. Su Qing-sang had never had the experience of eating together with such a large family. Old Master Li only had one daughter, Li Qianxue. The Li family was a small family. The Su family was even more so. After all, Su Qinghui's parents had passed away a long time ago. As soon as they entered the dining room, they saw that the large round table was full of people. The Hua family had two dining rooms. One was a European-style dining room with a European-style long table. Usually, if the other members of the Hua family didn't come, Old Master Hua would eat in this dining room. If many people came, they would eat in this dining room. Compared with the European-style buildings outside, this dining room had a completely different style. The round table inside was specially booked by Old Master Hua. The large round table could seat 20 people, and there was a wheel on it. It was the first time that Su Qing-sang saw someone use a wheel at home. She glanced around and saw that Hua Jinyao's uncle and aunt's family were sitting on one side and the other. Hua Mingguang and Lu Tongjiao were sitting on the left side of Old Master Hua. There were 2 seats left on the right side. Seeing Hua Jinyao and Lu Tongjia enter the door, Old Master Hua waved at them and said, Come, sit here. Su Qingsang instinctively looked at Hua Jinyao, but he took her hand and sat down next to Old Master Hua. When Hui Yifan and Hua Yiyang saw this, they looked at each other and understood the meaning in each other's eyes. Lu Tongjia didn't look good. She really didn't like this daughter-in-law, but Old Master Hua had spoken, so she couldn't object. She was angry, so she looked at Hua Jinyao and Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang couldn't help being stared at by her mother-in-law like that, so she subconsciously glanced at Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao was also looking at her and patted the back of her hand under the table to comfort her. Su Qingsang relaxed a lot because of his action. The 2 of them were very subtle in their actions. However, the feelings that were revealed from their gazes still shocked everyone else present. Hua Yifan narrowed his eyes, and there was a flash of deep meaning in his eyes. The other people had different expressions, but the surprise in their eyes was not less. Lu Tongjia sat next to Old Master Hua and naturally saw her son's little gestures. She looked more and more worried. The closer Hua Jinyao was to Su Qingsang, the worse she looked. Hua Mingguang wasn't as direct as Lu Tongjia, but he narrowed his eyes slightly because of his son's behavior. The only one who was happy was probably Old Master Hua. Today I am very happy. It was not only because Jin Yao was back, but also because Jin Yao had a family. The ancients said that one should start a family and start a career. Now that the family has been established, Jin Yao, you have to start taking care of it. Do you know? Yes, Grandpa. Don't worry, I won't let you down. The conversation made the Hua brothers, Wei Si Hai, and the others all have different expressions on their faces. Grandpa Sheng turned to look at Su Qingsang as if he didn't see it. Qingsang, I'm very happy that you're going home with Jin Yao. Since you married into the Hua family, you are a part of the Hua family. How about this? I don't have anything else to give you. I have a villa in the West District, so take it as a greeting gift. Tomorrow, I'll have someone accompany you to handle the transfer procedures. As soon as these words came out, his cousins were astonished and shocked again. The expressions of the Hua brothers changed slightly. Even Wei Siming's expression was very ugly. She knew that villa. When she was 20 years old, she wanted Grandpa to give it to her, but Grandpa refused. Chapter 213. Old Master Hua acted as if he didn't see it. Even if he saw it, he wouldn't change his mind. Grandpa, Su Qingsang couldn't sit still anymore. This gift is too expensive. I can't accept it. There's nothing you can't accept. Old Master Hua waved his hand. Things are dead, but people are alive. You married Jin Yao, so you're the eldest granddaughter-in-law of the Hua family. You don't have to worry about this. But Su Qingsang subconsciously looked at Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao squeezed Su Qingsang's hand to tell her not to be nervous. Since I said I'll give it to you, it's yours. Don't worry and accept it. Old Master Hua's eyes swept around the table and finally returned to Su Qingsang's face. He said again, don't be nervous. It's not just you. If you can give birth to a boy or a girl for the Hua family in the future, my shares will also be given to him. Grandpa, Su Qingsang really felt a lot of pressure. She wasn't ready to be a mother yet. It's okay. I'm old and half of my body is in the grave. My property will eventually belong to you, won't it? The table was very quiet. Hua Mingmei bit her lip and almost broke her nails. Hua Mingliang's face didn't change, but the gloominess in his eyes could be easily seen. As for the other younger generations, they were even more incompetent. They couldn't hide the dissatisfaction in their eyes. Old Master Hua didn't seem to see the undercurrent. He waved his hand and asked the housekeeper to start serving the dishes. Dad, Hua Mingmei couldn't help it. Her surname was Hua too. Except for some shares, she couldn't touch anything in the Hua family. She was already very uncomfortable. She knew that villa. Old Master Hua had countless properties under his name, but that one was the best in location and decoration. It was worth nearly 100 million yuan. She wanted to ask for it for her daughter's birthday, but she didn't get it. Now he just gave it to a little girl? Jin Yao and his wife don't live in Rome City often. I don't think they can use such a big villa, Hui Jin Yao said. Not to mention that the two of them still live there. Whether she can use it or not, it's her business. How she uses it and when she uses it is her business. How could old Master Hui not know what his daughter was planning? It wasn't that he valued men over women. It was just that after years of observation, there were some things that he was well aware of. But Hu Mingmei still wanted to say something, but Wei Nantian, who was sitting next to her, pulled her arm and gave her a look, signaling her to stop talking. She could only shut her mouth in embarrassment. The servants began to serve the dishes. Su Qing-sang had always tried to minimize her presence when she was eating in the Su family, and she did the same here. However, even if she wanted to reduce her sense of existence, she couldn't resist the fact that there was someone beside her who was trying his best to magnify her sense of existence. Qing-sang, try this. Aunt Wang's fried fish is the best. This fish is the best. Qing-sang, try this. This beef is very tender. Qing-sang, have some soup. Auntie Wang made this soup early in the morning. It's very soft. Try it. Su Qing-sang was already uncomfortable sitting in front of so many people. Now, that Hui Jinyao was doing this. More people were staring at her. She felt more and more uncomfortable. You don't have to take it. I can eat it myself. It's okay. I like to pick up food for you. Chapter 214. She was already eye-catching when she first arrived, but he still acted this way. Although he usually acted like this in Lin City, his behavior today was very eye-catching. She was even glad that he didn't call her his wife in front of so many people. Otherwise, she would feel even more uncomfortable. This is a specialty of Rome City. Try it. Hui Jinyao picked up some more food as he spoke. Lu Tongjia, who was sitting on the other side, couldn't stand it anymore. She slammed her chopsticks on the table and glared at the two people in front of her. Let's just eat. Why are you so fussy? What? Doesn't she have hands? Hui Jinyao didn't change his expression at all when he saw the dissatisfaction in his mother's eyes. The faint smile on his face looked like a provocation. She does have hands, but I like to put food in her bowl, and I like to watch her finish all the food I put in her bowl. Mom, if you don't think it's appropriate, you can ask Dad to put food in your bowl. What kind of attitude is that? Lu Tongjia's face turned green. Do you think everyone is as indecent as you? I don't think it's indecent. Hui Jinyao seemed to deliberately oppose Lu Tongjia. He picked up some more food and put it in Su Qingsang's bowl. Qingsang is my wife. I like to take care of her. I think it's a good idea. Lu Tongjia was about to lose her temper, but old Master Hui glanced at her and said, All right, let's eat. Lu Tongjia couldn't finish her words under old Master Hui's glare. She was furious. Old Master Hui looked at Su Qingsang lovingly and said, Qingsang, don't be shy. Eat whatever you want. You can ask Auntie Wang to make it for you later. Also, don't feel embarrassed when Jin Yao puts food in your bowl. Su Qingsang felt that more people were looking at her, as she became more and more uncomfortable. How could this be considered a meal? It was torture. After the meal was finally over, the group of people moved to the living room. The servants served tea and fruits after the meal. They were all cut into small pieces and placed very delicately. Su Qingsang couldn't eat earlier, so she had indigestion now. She refused the fruit that Hui Jinyao handed to her and sat next to him at old Master Hui's gesture. Seeing this, the other people all had different expressions. Everyone looked at the scene in front of them and knew that old Master Hui really valued this granddaughter-in-law today. Even Su Qingsang herself felt flattered. She didn't think that she was so likable, not to mention the fact that she had no experience in interacting with the elderly. What she didn't know was that old Master Hui loved Hui Jinyao, so he would naturally like the person his grandson liked. Is it hard working in a hospital? It's all right. If you feel tired, tell Jinyao and ask him to change hospitals for you. As he spoke, he turned to look at Hui Jinyao. Go talk to that kid from the Chung family and see if their hospital needs people. He didn't forget to explain to Su Qingsang. This Chung boy grew up with Jinyao. His family owns a hospital chain across the country. There are also many Class 3 Grade A hospitals. Let him know which hospital you want to go to. Hearing this, Su Qingsan's expression changed slightly. Just as she was about to explain, Hua Jinyao spoke first. Grandpa, I don't want to work in Rong City. As soon as he said this, everyone's eyes fell on Su Qingsang. Even old Master Hua couldn't control his expression. Chapter 2:15. Everyone was staring at her, which made Su Qingsang feel pressured again. She glanced at old Master Hua uncomfortably. Grandpa, I'm sorry. I'm only here to accompany Hua Jinyao for a few days. In fact, I haven't decided to come to Rong City yet. The living room was silent. Everyone looked at Su Qingsang. It didn't feel good to be stared at by such a group of people. Su Qingsang was the same. She was a little nervous. Jinyao. Old Master Hua stopped looking at her and looked at Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao sighed in his heart and sat down beside Su Qingsang. Grandpa, she's doing fine in Lin City. Even if you want her to come over, you have to let her adapt first, right? What's there to adapt to? Lu Tongjia sneered. I'm already married to you. Of course I'll follow you. Hearing this, Su Qingsang frowned again, and Hua Jinyao's face darkened. Su Qingsang couldn't help but say, Auntie, even if you don't think you're human, you don't have to say it out loud. What did you say? Lu Tongjia's face turned green. What are you talking about? I didn't curse. Su Qingsang didn't like Lu Tongjia very much. Li Qinxue didn't like her, but at least she could maintain a peaceful front. Hua Jinyao's mother was not polite at all. You said Hua Jinyao was a chicken or a dog. You gave birth to him, so aren't you scolding yourself too? Her voice was very soft, but her words were full of protection for Hua Jinyao. Lu Tongjia's chest heaved with anger. Old Master Hua glared at her. All right, you're already so old. Don't you know what to say? Lu Tongjia gritted her teeth. She had just spoken without thinking. He glared at Su Qingsang. This woman did have a sharp tongue. The more she thought about it, the more she disliked it. Qingsang, have you enjoyed the new year? Let Jinyao take you to the hospitals in Rong City for a few days. You should take a look too. No matter what, you're married to Jinyao. Naturally, wherever he is, you'll be there too. Don't you agree? That was true. Su Qingsang didn't resist coming to Rong City at first. However, after seeing Lu Tongjia, she didn't want to. Grandpa, let me think about it. Yes, it doesn't matter. You can think about it. If you don't want to live with us, Jinyao has a house in the city. You can also go to the world of just the two of you. I got it. Thank you, Grandpa. The only person Su Qingsang liked now was old Master Hua. In the entire Hua family, it seemed that only Grandpa Hua truly loved Hua Jinyao and cared for him. Yes, since you're here, don't be shy. We'll be a family in the future. You don't have anything to do in the afternoon, so don't stay at home. Let Jinyao accompany you to walk around. Thank you, Grandpa. You guys go ahead. I'm going upstairs to rest for a while. Old Master Hua had the habit of taking a lunch break every day. Su Qingsang stood up and followed Hua Jinyao to greet the elders before leaving. Although Lu Tongjia didn't like her, she was still very polite. As expected, the two of them didn't stand on ceremony. Anyway, Su Qingsang had already rested on the plane in the morning. After she left, Grandfather Hua didn't rush upstairs. Instead, he glanced at the crowd. Chapter 2:16. Everyone looked at each other, and the younger generation fell silent. Hua Mingguang looked at his father helplessly. Dad, what are you talking about? Who would dare to do anything to her? Didn't you see Jinyao protecting her? That's what he should do. Shouldn't a man protect his wife? If he can't even protect his wife, what can he do? After saying this, old Master Hua got up and prepared to go upstairs to rest. Before leaving, he glanced at Lu Tongjia. Tongjia, I know you want Ruoli to marry Jinyao, but now they're married. You should stop thinking about it. You're too stubborn about some things, so I won't try to persuade you. But Jinyao is your son, after all. You're not at the point where you can't get along with him. It was the first time Lu Tongjia had been humiliated by old Master Hua like this. Hua Mingguang looked at his wife's face and wanted to say something, but stopped. The other two families had different expressions, but without exception, They all looked like they were watching a good show. Su Qing-sang and Hu Jinyao didn't know any of this. Rome City was in the north, and it was already very cold. The coldness here was different from the coldness in the south. As soon as Su Qing-sang walked out of the door, she staggered because of the cold wind. Hu Jinyao helped her up with a smile on his face. "What's wrong? Are you so scared that your legs are weak?" "Who's scared?" Su Qing-sang steadied herself and looked at her feet. "See? There are steps. I didn't notice." "Yes." Hu Jinyao reached out to hold her hand. "I thought that you just calmed down and your legs went soft after you calmed down. You're the one who's weak." She was someone who dared to dissect a corpse. How could something like this make her legs weak? Hu Jinyao put his arm around her shoulder and said, "Okay, my wife is beautiful and bold. I'm so lucky to marry you." Su Qing-sang couldn't stand it anymore. "Stop fooling around. Come on, I'll take you to play. Where do you want to go?" "Anywhere. I'm not familiar with this place. Rome City used to be quite prosperous. There's an ancient city here, not far from here. I'll take you there. What do you think?" "You decide." Since it was his territory, they would naturally listen to him. Hu Jinyao took her to the car, and they went to the famous ancient city of Rome City. The ancient city was built in the Ming Dynasty. It had been preserved very well. Su Qing-sang liked this kind of place. He felt that it was a little interesting. It wasn't small, but the two of them walked around for an entire afternoon. After they came out, Hu Jinyao said he would take her to dinner. Su Qing-sang said that she wanted to eat the local specialties of Rome City. In fact, the food in Su Qing-sang City was quite spicy, but the people here didn't eat spicy food. But it was good to eat it occasionally. After dinner, it got dark. Su Qing-sang thought that Hu Jinyao would take her home, but she didn't expect him to say that he had already made arrangements. She followed him, and the two of them strolled around the night market. Although it wasn't as lively as the South, it still had a unique flavor. Seeing that it was almost 9 o'clock, Su Qing-sang thought that they would be going home soon. However, Hu Jinyao brought her here again. He looked up at the signboard. It should be a clubhouse. Hu Jinyao led her into the door, upstairs, and into the elevator. Someone led the way in front. Hu Jinyao squeezed her hand and said, "A few of my childhood friends knew that I was back and insisted on welcoming me. We had no choice but to go and entertain them." Chapter 217. Hu Jinyao seemed to know what she was worried about and patted her shoulder. "Yup, just a few childhood friends. They usually have a good relationship with me. They could be considered to have grown up together. If you really come to Rome City in the future, you'll have to ask these boys to help you with some things." "How can you say that about me?" Hearing that, Su Qing-sang knew that they had a good relationship, so she relaxed a lot. "You're being too polite. You'll know when you see him." Hu Jinyao thought about that group of people and added, "These people know that I'm married. They made a scene a few times and asked me to bring you out." She didn't follow Hu Jinyao to Rome City several times before. Naturally, he couldn't bring her to meet anyone. Su Qing-sang thought about the attitude of the Hu family and made all kinds of preparations. As they spoke, the two of them arrived at the entrance of the VIP room. Pushing open the door, they saw a row of U-shaped sofas in the spacious room. There were already a few people sitting inside. Seeing Hu Jinyao enter the door, someone whistled. Su Qing-sang recognized one of the men immediately. Wasn't that person the mayor of Lin City? She had seen it on the local news. At that time, he felt that the other party was really young. He didn't expect to see them in Rome City. A man who looked to be in his late 20s with a crew cut stood up. He was dressed in a military uniform and looked very proper. He threw a punch at Hu Jinyao. "Brat, you're finally willing to come out of your nest." The other one was more delicate and looked about the same age as the first one. The man in the gray shirt stood up as well. "I don't think he's willing to come out. He's here to extort us." "Yes, I think so too." Finally, the person sitting in the private room said, "So, how about 3 drinks as punishment?" Punishment. He had to be punished. Junsheng was so busy, but he still had time to fly back to meet with us. "Just you, kid." "What? Now that you're married, you have a lot of face. Isn't it hard to see you?" "That's enough." Hu Jinyao punched the guy with the flat top and said, "Stop it. When I'm not home, You guys seem to be having more fun." The group laughed. All eyes fell on Su Qingsang, who was standing next to Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao turned to look at Su Qingsang. "Come on, let me introduce you." He pointed at the man in the military uniform who was the most talkative. "This is Cheng Xianyan." The gray shirt was Cheng Wan Xianyang. The last one to speak was Tang Mohan. It was Su Changlong who had been silent. Li Junsheng didn't need to be introduced. Su Qingsang already knew him. After introducing everyone, Hua Jinyao put his arm around Su Qingsang's shoulder and brought her to the front. "This is my wife, Su Qingsang. Hello, sister-in-law." Hua Jinyao smiled and said, "I'm older than all of them. It's only right for me to call you sister-in-law." "Nice to meet you." Su Qingsang greeted them graciously. Although Cheng Xianyun was wearing a military uniform, he was the most lively one. He looked Su Qingsang up and down, then turned to Hua Jinyao. "Little sister-in-law is quite pretty. No wonder you don't." Xianyun, Li Junshin called him from behind. Cheng Xianyun rubbed his nose. No wonder he had been hiding and did not bring little sister-in-law out. Hua Jinyao gave him a warning look, and Cheng Xianyun made a zipping gesture with his mouth. Chapter 218. The doubt disappeared after Hua Jinyao sat down with her. The group of people chatted casually. Su Qingsang found that except for Su Changlong, who didn't speak much, the others were very friendly. Li Junsheng also surprised her a little. This kind of person, who could only be seen on TV, was actually Hua Jinyao's childhood friend. Hua Jinyao sat next to Li Junsheng. Li Junsheng raised his wine glass to Su Qingsang. "Sister-in-law, this is the first time we've met. Give me one. Don't mess around. She can't drink." Hua Jinyao didn't want Su Qingsang to go back drunk. "Are you protecting her?" Li Junsheng didn't force her, but the teasing in his eyes was very obvious. Hua Jinyao smiled. "Yes, I'll protect my people. Do you have a problem with that?" "No. How can I have a problem with that?" "Jinyao, that's not right. How can you not drink when you're here?" Cheng Xianyun jumped out again. He picked up the wine glass and was about to toast Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang smiled and refused. "I really can't drink. If you can't drink, then sing." Cheng Xianyun pulled Su Qingsang up as he spoke and looked at Hua Jinyao. "Brother Hua, I'll borrow sister-in-law for a while. You can do whatever you want. You brat." Hua Jinyao glared at him and turned to look at Su Qingsang. "Ignore him. If you don't want to just sit here, I'll see who dares." Wan Xianyang, Cheng Xianyun, and Tang Mohan all said something. Su Qingsang blushed and was a little embarrassed. "Then let's sing one." "Look, sister-in-law has agreed. Come, what do you want to sing? I'll order a song for you." "I'll do it myself." Su Qingsang stood up and walked to the console to order a song. The group of people didn't pay attention to this side. Li Junsheng approached Hua Jinyao and lowered his voice. "Last time, your company didn't fight for the land in the east of the city. The plan has changed." "Oh." Hua Jinyao calmly picked up the glass in front of him. "What has changed?" "Originally, it was to build villas there. Now there are documents saying that it is to build nursing homes and orphanages. I didn't want the land in the east of the city." Hua Jinyao raised his glass and gently clinked it with him. "I've always wanted the land in the south of the city." Li Junsheng smiled and clinked glasses with him. "You're still so cunning, kid. I'll take that as a compliment." Hua Jinyao smiled brightly. "I'm determined to win the auction next month. Don't worry. If there are no accidents, it should be yours." Li Junsheng drank half of the cup and suddenly became serious. "But you guys have earned the money, and you have to do things. Although you won't fight for that piece of land, your company still needs to put in some effort for the nursing home and orphanage. Since you, Mayor Li, have spoken, I will naturally follow your orders. If my project does well, won't you be proud as well?" "You." Li Junsheng smiled. Hua Jinyao knew that he had always been ambitious. The two of them clinked their glasses. Nothing needed to be said. When Su Qingsang sat down next to Hua Jinyao, she found that he seemed to be in a better mood. She looked at him suspiciously, not understanding what had happened in such a short time. Hua Jinyao couldn't explain it to her, so he just handed her a glass of juice. Su Qingsang had just taken it when the door of the private room was opened. There were 3 women standing at the door. The leader had a very delicate face, and at the moment, her face was full of displeasure. Chapter 219. The second one who came in was a pretty girl. She put one hand on the shoulder of the woman in front of her and saw Hu Jinyao at first glance. Brother Jinyao is back. You guys didn't even tell us. Instead, you came here to play. It's really too much. Exactly. The woman in the lead snorted and pulled the last woman in. Brother Jinyao, you're so heartless. You didn't invite your sisters to play with you when you came back. Hu Jinyao didn't speak. Su Qingsang blinked and looked at those people. The first one who came in was quite beautiful. She was Li Juanxing's sister, Li Wanyu. Behind her was Tang Mohan's sister, Tang Monlu. The last one to come in was Su Ruoli, Su Changlong's sister. Su Qingsang's eyes subconsciously fell on Su Ruoli. Li Wanyu was beautiful, Tang Monlu was beautiful, but Su Ruoli was out of this world. Her facial features were not gorgeous, but she had a kind of beauty, like an orchid in an empty valley. Inexplicably, Su Qingsang felt a vague sense of threat. She subconsciously glanced at Hu Jinyao. Hu Jinyao picked up the grapes on the coffee table and put them to her mouth. Here, have a grape. Su Qingsang subconsciously opened her mouth, but found that the 3 women were looking at her. Brother Jinyao. Li Wanyu went forward and sat next to Li Junsheng. Who is this? My wife. Su Qingsang. Hu Jinyao told Su Qingsang the names of the rest of the people. Hello. Su Qingsang nodded slightly as a greeting. Li Wanyu and Tang Monlu looked at each other, and Tang Monlu sat next to Hu Jinyao. Brother Jinyao, you got married in a low-key way. Didn't the whole Rong city hear about it? Tang Monlu said, half-jokingly. Exactly, Brother Jinyao. You didn't find a random woman to fool us because you wanted to be forced to marry by Aunt Hua, did you? Wanyu. Li Junsheng glared at his sister with a bit of coldness in his eyes. Don't talk nonsense. Except for Li Junsheng, the other men looked at each other and didn't say anything. Even Cheng Xianyun, who had always been lively, sat motionless. How is this nonsense? Li Wanyu raised her eyebrows and glanced at Su Ruoli, who had come in but had not yet sat down. Everyone knows that Annie Hua's favorite person is Li Wanyu. Li Juanxing's expression was already quite ugly. If you continue to talk nonsense, you can leave. Brother, what are you doing? Am I your little sister? Li Junxing was unmoved. Today is a gathering for us men. You girls go home first. I don't want to. Li Wanyu didn't want to. If it's a gathering for men, then why is she here? She directly pointed at Su Qingsang, and Su Qingsang was inexplicably implicated. How could she be the same as you? She's Jinyao's wife. Li Junxing knew what his sister was thinking. Judging from his protective attitude towards Su Qingsang, she could tell how important Su Qingsang was to him. As long as they weren't stupid, they wouldn't challenge Hu Jinyao's bottom line. But I'm still your sister. Li Wanyu glared at him. How can you be someone's brother like this? You don't protect me, but only outsiders. When she said this, she glared at Su Qingsang with obvious provocation in her eyes. Su Qingsang was implicated again. She subconsciously glanced at Hu Jinyao. He picked up the fruit on the table and fed her another bite. Eat the fruit. Chapter 220. If Su Qingsang still couldn't tell that something was wrong, she would be really stupid. Once again, she confirmed that a woman's intuition was indeed very accurate. She just felt that Su Ruoli was not ordinary. Su Ruoli had already walked to her brother Su Changlong and sat down. She didn't seem to hear what Li Wanyu and Tang Monlu said. Su Qingsang looked at Hu Jinyao again. Hu Jinyao acted as if he didn't see those women. He calmly fed her 2 more pieces of fruit. Seeing that she was looking at him, he took out a tissue and wiped his hands. Tired? If you're tired, we can go back first. Can I go first? Su Qingsang wasn't tired. She just didn't like Li Wanyu and Tang Monlu's attitude. However, she was more curious about the relationship between Su Ruoli and Hu Jinyao. Why did everyone else look at them as if they were having an affair? Brother Jinyao, what do you mean? Li Wanyu bit her lip. Her beautiful face was a bit aggrieved. We are here, and you want to leave? Yes, brother Jinyao. What's wrong? You don't like us now that you are married? Tang Monlu also said. She was obviously dissatisfied with Hua Jinyao's behavior. Wanyu, Monlu, Li Junsheng, and Tang Mohan obviously didn't like their sister being so immature. The two of them felt quite aggrieved and looked at Su Ruoli together. Su Ruoli felt their gazes and smiled faintly. Jinyao just came back today. I think he is tired. Anyway, he is back. There is still a long way to go. Don't force him to stay. Sister Ruoli. Li Wanyu looked at Su Ruoli. Su Ruoli didn't say that just now. Su Changlong was also looking at his sister. In fact, they were twins. Su Ruoli was only born 10 minutes earlier than him. In his heart, he knew about the engagement between the Su family and the Hua family. That was why he hadn't said anything since just now. He couldn't particularly accept that a woman from nowhere had become Hua Jinyao's wife and taken away his sister's position. All right, don't we often go out to play? We can't stop playing when Jinyao is gone, right? Su Ruoli spoke again. The others didn't speak and only looked at Hua Jinyao. The atmosphere was a little strange. Su Qingsang pulled Hua Jinyao's hand and said, I'm not too tired. We can leave later. He had been staying in Lin City these days and hadn't come back. It was rare for him to come back. If he left just like that, it wouldn't be good. Her dislike of society did not mean that she was ignorant of the ways of the world. Then let's play a little longer. Hua Jinyao looked like he would do anything for Su Qingsang. Li Wanyu felt her teeth ache, and Tang Monlu also felt uncomfortable. They went to see Su Ruoli together. Su Ruoli acted as if nothing had happened. She picked up a glass and poured herself a glass of wine. Hua Jinyao and Su Qingsang were sitting together, and Li Junsheng was sitting next to Hua Jinyao. Later, Li Wanyu and Tang Monlu sat beside Li Junsheng. On the other side of Hua Jinyao was Tang Monlu. Tang Monlu kept looking at Su Ruoli. After pouring the wine, she stood up and walked to Hua Jinyao. Tang Monlu took the opportunity to stand up and give her seat to Su Ruoli. Sister Ruoli, sit here. Su Ruoli sat down next to Hua Jinyao and raised a glass in her hand to Hua Jinyao. Jinyao, you didn't inform us of your marriage, and I haven't congratulated you. I'm giving you a belated blessing. Hua Jinyao glanced at her and picked up the glass. Chapter 221. Su Ruoli looked at Su Qingsang. Her eyes were light and friendly. Su Qingsang looked at the glass in front of her and then at Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao smiled at her and then looked at Su Ruoli. His voice was a little colder. You called her the wrong way. Su Ruoli was stunned. Hua Jinyao added, you shouldn't call her sister-in-law. Su Qingsang didn't understand, but Su Ruoli's face turned pale. She held the glass and didn't react for nearly half a minute. The other people in the private room also looked over, especially Su Changlong. Hua Jinyao, what are you talking about? That's the truth. Hua Jinyao's expression didn't change. He looked at Su Ruoli. He understood the meaning of that look, and so did Su Ruoli. She is younger than you. You called her name. Su Ruoli's fingertips were pale. She looked down and didn't speak. No one knew what she was thinking. Su Qingsang felt that the atmosphere was a little strange, but she couldn't tell what was strange. She thought about it and wanted to pick up the glass in front of her. Hua Jinyao held her hand and gave her another glass of juice. Drink this. He was the only one who had seen her drunk. The protectiveness in his eyes was so obvious. Su Ruoli wasn't blind. Her face also turned a little pale. Jinyao, Su Changlong didn't look good either. Seeing his sister being looked down upon like this, he moved his legs and wanted to stand up. Wan Xianyang held him down. He glanced at him and shook his head at him silently. Su Changlong sat back down. Tang Mohan didn't move. Li Wanyu and Tang Monlu didn't dare to speak. It doesn't matter what you drink. What matters is my thought. Su Ruoli barely regained her senses. She picked up the glass and gestured to Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang picked up the juice and nodded to Ji Dongli. Su Ruoli and Hua Jinyao clinked glasses. He gently touched the glass and quickly withdrew his hand. He casually took a sip and put it down. His attitude made Su Ruoli's face turn even paler. Su Qingsang held the juice glass in her hand and felt a little strange. Come. What are you standing there for? Chung Xianyun looked at the atmosphere in the room and stood up first. Come out to play. Let's have a good time. Sister-in-law, come on, let's sing. You just said you don't want to drink, but you still have to sing this song. Su Qingsang put down her glass and smiled shyly. I'm not good at singing. Sorry for that. Sister-in-law, what are you saying? It's not like I want to be a singer. Chung Xianyun smiled and handed the microphone to Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang glanced at the screen. The number of times she came out to play could be counted on one hand. The songs he could sing were also very few. However, when he was in school, one of his roommates especially liked Fei Wong. It was played every day, so she only knew a few songs. I haven't properly felt the gentleness of the snowflakes dancing. Su Qingsang's voice was not clear. It was just that her voice was a little low. Singing such a song was surprisingly pleasant. Hua Jinyao looked at her and felt that he had never seen Su Qingsang like this. He couldn't help but reach out to hold her hand. Su Qingsang was just about to sing sometimes, I'd rather not let go. Feeling the warmth of his hand, she turned her face and smiled at him. Hua Jinyao squeezed her palm and praised her for singing with his eyes. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.